His first cabinet meeting of his second administration right now. The meeting comes just as the GOP-led House passed Trump's budget resolution with a narrow 217 to 215 vote. The measure now being debated in the Senate. Elon Musk taking part in this meeting. Correspondent Weijia Zhang says there may be more bad news on the way for federal workers.
The administration is preparing to direct federal agencies to submit reorganization plans by March 13th as part of sweeping reductions in force.
21 civil service employees have resigned from Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, saying that they're refusing to use their technical expertise to dismantle critical public services. The Supreme Court hearing arguments in an Ohio woman's claim that she was denied a promotion and then demoted because she's straight. Marlene Ames says the case could make it easier for people from majority backgrounds to pursue workplace discrimination claims. Ohio, along with 13 other states and the District of Columbia, requiring people suing for discrimination to prove that they were the victims of historical discrimination. Legal correspondent Jan Crawford has more on this.
That's something that's sometimes hard for non-minority to show because they weren't typically discriminated against historically. So that's the issue in the case, and how hard can it be for her to show that? She was unable to, so therefore she couldn't pursue her case in court.
Ames is asking the justices to revive her civil rights lawsuit against her employer, Ohio's Department of Youth Services, after lower courts threw it out. The Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office identifying cremains recovered after a fire at an abandoned funeral home last year.
There's a list of 57 sets of cremains from the former Norman Medford Peden Funeral Home and Crematory.
We wanted to put it out just in case there are family members out there that have unanswered questions.
Cobb County spokesman Ross Cavett says the names are posted online.
The names are listed there. If anybody thinks there is a connection, there's a phone number there they can contact.
We posted the list at WSBradio.com. The funeral home had gone out of business and was about to be foreclosed when it was damaged by fire. Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
A former Customs and Border Protection officer is convicted of smuggling cocaine from the U.S. Virgin Islands to Atlanta.
Prosecutors say 45-year-old Ivan Van Beverhout used his position as a CBP officer to break the law and smuggle more than 16 kilograms of cocaine into Atlanta from the U.S. Virgin Islands. He's accused of boarding a flight from St. Thomas to Atlanta, carrying the drugs in 2 carry-on bags. To avoid TSA screening, Van Beverhout traveled in his official capacity, even with his loaded patrol-issued firearm. A trained narcotics canine at Hartsfield-Jackson detected the cocaine. He now faces time in federal prison. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Update on the Pope this noon. The 88-year-old pontiff remains in critical condition with double pneumonia and a lung infection. Pope Francis has been in the hospital there in Rome for 13 days now. The decline of Christianity in this country has apparently slowed. Jennifer Kuiper has a look at the new polling.
Polling finds that the Christian share of the population after years of decline has been relatively stable since 2019, and the religiously unaffiliated population, after rising rapidly for decades, has leveled off, at least temporarily. 62% of U.S. adults describe themselves as Christians. 29% are religiously unaffiliated.
The study says young adults are far less religious than older adults. And when it comes to the best states to raise a family, Georgia is not ranked very high at all, according to a Wallet Hub survey. Georgia comes in at number 40 out of 50 states. The study considered factors like family fun, health and safety, education, affordability, and socioeconomics. While Georgia scored relatively well in family fun, we came in at number 21, we lagged behind in other areas like health and safety, education, and child care, as well as affordability. The best state to raise a family, according to this survey, Massachusetts, followed by Minnesota, then North Dakota. The worst state, New Mexico, then Mississippi and West Virginia. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 84 points at 43,705. NASDAQ is also in positive territory, up more than a full percent. The S&P's up more than 0.5%. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center with a look at your lunchtime roads.
Not going to be a good one if you're heading out of Marietta into Kennesaw. This is definitely going to be a travel advisory for now. Overturned tractor trailer, I-75. Looks to be in the southbound lanes, or the northbound lanes, 75 northbound right at Barrett Parkway, exit number 269. All lanes are blocked, just the left shoulder getting by, but I guarantee you they're going to shut those down as soon as authorities get on scene. That means using Highway 41, Cobb Parkway as an alternate. Elsewhere, we got a crash. It's been in the left lane, 285 eastbound, the Interloop, Ashford Dunwoody Road, exit 29. You're jammed up coming out of Sandy Springs. And new trouble downtown, HOV lane block, 7585 southbound at North Avenue, exit 249. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Now, Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official heating of winter. Here's WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
Sunny skies today and very warm. Today's high is 76. That's trending about 15 degrees above average for this afternoon. But clouds moving in for tonight ahead of a cold front that'll swing through tomorrow. Not much rain associated with this front, but it'll bring cloudy skies, breezy conditions, and cooling temperatures down to the upper 60s for tomorrow afternoon. Friday morning lows in the low 40s. Friday afternoon's high 64. Sunny skies for Saturday and Sunday. Morning lows in the 40s. Daytime highs in the mid 60s.
We'll have more news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Erick Erickson here across America. I am delighted to have all of you on board today. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be delighted to have you. And if you text Erick, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you can get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, and so much more. It would be just a delight to have you with me. We have got to get firing on all cylinders here because we got some crazy stuff happening in America today that we got to talk about. To begin with, and most importantly, we have the Treasury Secretary who has said something that should be obvious to all of us by now, and it needs to be noted and said, and it's refreshing to see the Treasury Secretary be willing to be open, candid, and honest in ways we haven't seen in the past. Scott Bisson is the Treasury Secretary. He's lived in Charleston, South Carolina. He was a hedge fund guy. He's highly respected by both sides of the aisle. Scott Bisson, the Treasury Secretary, says what you and I have known for quite a while, and no one in the media wanted to talk about it. In fact, the media, I would say, it's the second biggest scandal of the last 4 years. The media for 4 years covered up Joe Biden's mental decline and also covered up the fact that the private sector in this country was in a recession. The data was there for anyone to see. Now, the way the Treasury Department has handled a recession, you will recall, is 2 quarters of negative economic growth, which we hit during the Biden administration, and suddenly they rearranged the definition. Remember that? I don't know that gets enough attention. It has been well settled for years in popular economics that if you decline for 2 consecutive quarters, that's a recession. We did this under Joe Biden, and they're like, that's not really the definition of a recession. Scott Bisson today says the U.S. private sector has been in a recession. This is, and he also says that we've got to reduce government spending. And listen, there are a lot of things that could be the big story, but when I sit down and I do my show prep and I try to think about what do you need to know, one of the things I do is what really is a massive story, and what is the thing that's really not getting. What do I need to highlight? I know most people tune in right at the top of the hour. What is the big story? This is it. And I need you to understand, just picture 2 balloons, if you will. Picture 2 balloons with a straw that joins them together. They are sealed tightly. They're mildly inflated. When you squeeze on one of the balloons, the air is pushed through the straw into the other balloon, and the other balloon grows as the one you're pushing on shrinks. When you let them go, they find some equilibrium themselves. Government does that to the private sector. When government squeezes on the private sector, it grows government, and the private sector shrinks. When our national debt grows and the government dumps a bunch of money into the economy, the private sector reduces. The government may grow, the government may do well, but the private sector itself does not do well. So Scott Bissett gave a speech last night at the Australian Embassy. He said the Trump administration, one of their singular major economic goals is to reverse what he characterized as huge government spending that comes at the expense of the private sector. He says, this is the direct quote, "This is about more than just reduced fiscal deficit. Government overspending brings distortions in the economy that inhibit dynamism and limit growth to a designated subset of favorite sectors. Our goal," this is big, this is really, really big. "Our goal is to re-privatize the economy. The previous administration's over-reliance on excess government spending and overbearing regulation left us with an economy that may have exhibited some reasonable metrics, but ultimately was brittle underneath." He said, when you actually look at the economy, guess what? I was right. If you've listened to this program for the last 4 years, you've heard me say this repeatedly. We had growth in government, we had growth in education, and we had growth in healthcare. Everything else shrank. The private sector added an average of 130,000 jobs in 2024, a downshift from 155,000 monthly average the prior year. So what is the correct size of government? He says we'll know it when we see it. Okay, so there is those economists who are listening right now, you're going to know this better than me, but there is a natural rate. There's a natural interest rate. I can't remember the technical term of it, but essentially, economists left, right, and center argue that there is an interest rate, that when the government sets that interest rate, you get growth without inflation. It's a balance point for the economy. But what is that interest rate? We don't know it until we've gotten there. I forget the technical term. You'll have to forgive me. I'm sure many of you, the economists out there, you're going to be emailing me here, but that's the basic point, is that we will get to an interest rate. And when we get to that interest rate, we will see it. It won't create inflation. It will create growth. We'll know it when we get there. You don't know where this interest rate is until you've gotten there. And that's what Bessent says about the size of government. We will reduce the government to a point where we know when we've gotten there. We'll know it when we see it. But how will we know? We will know when the private sector starts growing. He said, this is his direct quote, "Let me emphasize, it is the Department of Government Efficiency, not the Department of Government Elimination. We'll know it when we get there, what the correct size of government is." This is actually very big news. Because what are the two ways they want to stimulate the economy? Milton Friedman would be excited to hear Scott Bissett talk. Because if you read Milton Friedman, and maybe we should do a book lesson here nobody reads Milton Friedman anymore, except he's gone viral on TikTok. Milton Friedman, of all things, the acclaimed 20th century free market economist, has gone viral on the internet. I get young people, 20-something and teenagers, my kids, send me clips of Milton Friedman and said, "Dad, you should listen to this guy." It's like, I know that guy. He's dead now, but yes, Milton Friedman. Read his book. Friedman, as an aside, has this great anecdote, just to give you a sense of who Milton Friedman was. Is after World War II, he was in Germany, I think maybe it was France. He was driving down a road, and there were a bunch of men digging ditches, drainage ditches, and they had shovels. And Milton Friedman asked the government host who was driving him and says, "Why do these men have shovels? Why aren't they using backhoes?" And the driver, I do think it was France, the driver says to him, "Mr. Friedman, if they used backhoes, we wouldn't have to employ as many men. If they used backhoes, we wouldn't have to deploy as many men. You had all these men out there digging ditches when you could have had somebody on a backhoe, just a single person digging one ditch quicker than these men would be able to do it in a day. The backhoe could probably do too." And so Friedman says, the guy says, if we used a backhoe, we wouldn't have as many men to employ. And Friedman says, well, then why don't you give them all spoons? You can employ many more people. Wasn't wrong. Friedman was great. And Friedman hypothesized there are two ways to expand the private sector. Two ways. One is reduce the size and scope of government, because it's like those two balloons. The bigger the government balloon grows, it's taking air out of the private sector. The other way is through deregulation. Why? Because big businesses get to a point where they can't become bigger businesses. Think about Apple right now, my beloved Apple. Apple is the biggest market cap company on planet Earth. Apple is a $1 trillion+ company. It took Apple a very long time to become a $1 trillion+ company. It's virtually impossible, all things being equal right now, for Apple to become a $2 trillion or $3 trillion company. Why? Because it takes a long time to acquire $1 trillion. So Apple, as a growth prospect, it's going to be stable. It's going to have value. It pays a dividend. It's a great stock. Full disclosure, I own it. But Apple is not going to probably be able to double in size given how big it is. But there's a small company out there right now that could grow and could expand. And the problem is that company has government regulations that keep it down. And a lot of government regulations are structured so that a company can only grow so far, and then the burden, the regulatory burden, compounds on it, keeping it from further growth. And so Scott Bisson is one who, like Milton Friedman, argues you get rid of the burden of regulatory growth, your small businesses can become big businesses without hurdles. There's a great example of this. Now, my lawyer has been sending me this. There is a new criminal law in the United States. So I run a small business. It is my radio company. I'm an employee of Cox Media Group, my flagship station, WSB, an employee there. But then I can take my show and it becomes mine, and I broadcast it around the nation, and the syndication side is mine. There's a new rule. I have to file all sorts of ownership requirements and disclosures with the federal government. Otherwise, I'm going to go to jail. Yeah, it's been being fought in the courts. The court, I think the lawsuit just got lost. It's being appealed. But yeah, if you're a small business, listen to me now. If you're an LLC, if you're a small business, a limited liability company, you have new disclosure rules that you've got to comply with by the end of next month, or it's like a $10,000 per day fine in jail, something outrageous like that. It's one of the things the Biden administration and the Democrats did. It's a massive burden on small businesses. And you're thinking it's regulatory compliance. No big deal. Do you know how much a small business has to do with for regulatory compliance? I get census forms every quarter that I have to fill out. If I don't fill them out, someone shows up. If I refuse to answer that person, I go to jail. The regulatory burdens on small businesses for compliance with stupid things, like the board. Every company has the board. They put it where nobody sees it, telling you all the OSHA laws and the labor laws and the capacity for the office laws. And if you got a drinking problem, call this number, all that stuff. There's a board somewhere with all the labor laws that they're required to post in their business. Little things like that add up over time with regulatory costs. You got to have somebody on the payroll eventually. So many of these regulations come in. You got to have somebody who complies with all of them. You start killing those regulations. Those small businesses can take the compliance officer's salary and turn it into the salary of someone who's productive, who makes money. No offense to you regulatory compliance guys, but you know what I mean. You don't actually add value to your company. You protect your company from liability. You reduce the need for protection from liability. You add it to the prospect for growing the company. Bissett, as Treasury Secretary, is staking out a clear position for the Trump administration that it actually is going to be for free market growth in this country and reducing the size and scope of government. Honestly, that is really big news. For him to acknowledge that the Biden administration did put the private sector economy in a recession, and the only reason it didn't look like a recession was because government was growing as big as it was, is a damning indictment on not just the last 4 years, but on the press coverage of the last 4 years, on top of covering Joe Biden's dementia. It's a very, very big deal. It is the big story of the day with everything else going on. This is huge. And the ramifications are going to be fantastic for the markets as liberals start saying Donald Trump's going to put us in a recession. Here comes Scott Bisson saying, no, we're about to spark major economic growth.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Listen up, commuters. If you're heading up into Marietta, further into Kennesaw and Ackworth, a red alert. All lanes of I-75 northbound completely shut down at Barrett Parkway, exit 269. Overturned tractor trailer across all lanes. Traffic is forced off onto Barrett Parkway. You can exit there and re-enter I-75 northbound, but if you're stuck in the backup, I would suggest using Highway 41 Cobb Parkway or I-575 north as your alternate. Looks like the crash 285 eastbound, the inner loop near Ashford Dunwoody, Chamblee Dunwoody Road is cleared. Still slow out of Sandy Springs, but those delays will improve. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome to Window Wisdom with North Georgia Replacement Windows. Today we're talking about long-term decisions with window and door experts, Ted Kirk and Jonathan Cullum, owners of North Georgia Replacement Windows. You guys are passionate about helping homeowners with your Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows. Why all the focus on this window?
Well, we want all of our customers to have the very best for their homes, and all of our experience in the window and door business has led us to this one window that outperforms all others.
How long do Infinity from Marvin windows last?
There's a reason we say Infinity fiberglass windows are a decision you'll only need to make once. They're the most durable material available, paired with the most advanced installation techniques by our certified installers.
What if something does happen? What is the warranty on the Infinity windows?
Infinity from Marvin carries a limited lifetime warranty, backed by Marvin, who's been in the business for over 100 years. We also include a lifetime service warranty, which means if you ever have a problem with a window or door, we'll fix it for free.
Do you have to replace a minimum quantity of windows at one time?
Absolutely not. Unlike our competitors, we'll replace as many or as few windows as you like at one time.
So what type of special offers are you running this month?
We have some big discounts available right now. Please visit the special section of our website for more info. We've also partnered with some financing companies for flexible payment options to help make our windows and doors more affordable.
Thank you, Ted and Jonathan, for helping to simplify the window shopping process. To schedule your free consultation, visit them online at ngwindows.com. Check out this month's special offers with huge discounts and flexible payment plans, saving you money and making it easier to put the very best windows in your home. Act quickly. These are limited time offers. Log on to ngwindows.com and click on the special offers tab. ngwindows.com.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
Belinda Skelton here for Virtual Imaging, and I have their Chief Operating Officer, Barry Petrie, here in the studio. Barry, tell us what Virtual Imaging is all about.
Thanks, Belinda. Great to be here. So we have been in business for 15 years, and what we do is we empower folks in the Atlanta area to come in and advocate for their own health and scan for things like heart disease, cancer, aneurysms, and other ailments as well.
How important is it for folks to get that heart scan?
Very important. Heart disease is the number one killer of Americans, so that's the most important test we want to get as a baseline. Most Americans will die as a result of cardiovascular disease. So if you're going to get one test, that's the one you want to get. And that test will quickly tell you if you have any calcium or plaque in your 5 arterial pathways. The scan itself will take less than 10 minutes, and you will get your results within a day or two.
Barry, I know that Virtual Imaging screens for so many different things. Tell us what some of the areas of the body you screen for.
We can do anything from head to pelvis. So we can do the heart scan, we can do the head scan, we can also do what I call a core body scan. So that's looking at all those areas between your neck and your pelvis. We're looking for aneurysms, we're looking for tumors, we're looking for cancer, any of those things. So think of this as an ability to do a very wide screening area of the body.
This is Heart Health Month, so you have an offer for us.
Anyone who calls in will get a free heart scan for you and a spouse.
And that number to call is 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Go to virtualimagingatl.com.
Sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and receive the strongest cash offer in the industry. Save time, you'll make the most money. Hey, Sean Hannity here. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can skip the hassle of getting your home ready to sell, receive an all-cash offer, and close within days. No showings, no open houses, and no stress. Find out what the guaranteed offer would be on your home. No obligation. MarkSpain.com. Get your guaranteed offer on your home today. That's MarkSpain.com, and then you can start packing.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Want to be on the show? Come on, be on the show. Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
Greetings. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The media is giving disproportionate coverage to people who are resigning from the White House. They are civil servant employees who worked for DOGE, used to be the Department of Digital Services, and they're saying they're not going to allow their services to be used to invade people's privacy or abuse people, and they're being heralded as heroes. They're a bunch of progressive holdovers from the Biden administration. The double standard from the media here yet again. I mean, you could do an entire show just on the double standard of the media. These people are not heroes. They're progressives who don't want to work with Elon Musk. There's some breaking news I have to get to, though, that actually is more important than that. The Supreme Court has just announced it will not be taking a challenge to Friends of George versus Mulroy. This is a huge win for the state of Tennessee and for conservatives. What the Tennessee law at stake did was essentially ban drag shows for kids. The law says very clearly it becomes a criminal offense for a person who engages in an adult cabaret performance on public property or in a location where the adult cabaret performance could be viewed by a person who is not an adult, with a very clear definition for what an adult cabaret performance is. Essentially, this law was passed after it came out that progressives were doing drag performances across the state of Tennessee that were pretty explicit and being billed as family-friendly. Bill Lee, the governor, signed it into law in 2023, and a federal district court ruled that the law was unconstitutional because it was too vague and too broad. It went to an appeal before the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, and the Sixth Circuit allowed the law into effect and said there's nothing wrong with the law, it's fine. The Supreme Court today has announced it will stand by the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals decision and will not take up the case. It is constitutional for states to ban drag queen shows for children. Good. Common sense prevails. I honestly don't understand the people who wanted to take their kids. So, the only reason they wanted to take their kids to it was because conservatives didn't like it. And so they're like, screw our kids, let's go show them genitals and drag queens. And it was nonsense to begin with. And the Supreme Court siding with common sense. Hillsdale has great selections of classes that talk a lot about common sense and its origins, where it comes from, the rule of law, natural order, things like that. You can take them all. Go to ericforhillsdale.com today, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up at ericforhillsdale.com for no charge at all. You will not pay a penny. You can find a class that piques your interest, and you can sit in front of, at the feet of, one of Hillsdale's finest professors. They're video lectures, and you do them at your own pace. You can start and stop, pause, whatever you need. Each episode about 30 minutes long. Some have 12 episodes, some have 6, some have 15. And you get them from chemistry to math to world history to theology to literature to civics and the Constitution. I have expanded my mind on a bunch of them. I love the Constitution one as a lawyer. I really like the Constitution one as someone who's been in seminary. They have a great one on Genesis argument, and of course C.S. Lewis, because I love C.S. Lewis. Go to Eric, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up. Do them at your own pace. There's not a charge. ericforhillsdale.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. There is a red alert right now on I-75 North in Kennesaw. This is at Barrett Parkway. I understand there's an overturned big rig there. Stay close. We'll check in with Alex Williams in the 24-hour traffic center in just a matter of minutes. Your weather for today, it's going to be beautiful. Hope you get a chance to get out and enjoy it. Mostly sunny, high 76, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. A civil rights complaint's been filed against the Fulton County School District after claims of discrimination against Palestinian and Muslim students. The civil rights complaint comes from the Council on American Islamic Relations and Asian Americans Advancing Justice. The district saying in a statement today it takes all allegations of discrimination seriously. The Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office identifying 57 sets of cremains recovered from a fire at an abandoned funeral home last year. The Norman Medford Peden Funeral Home and Crematory had gone out of business and was about to be foreclosed on when that fire started. Cobb County spokesman Ross Cavett says that they hope to provide answers to family members with lingering questions about loved ones.
So we're not sure how much of a response we're going to get from this list, but we wanted to put it out just in case.
The names of the individuals are online. We've posted it for you, WSBradio.com. President Trump's first cabinet meeting of his second administration is underway.
We're going to start getting to be at a point where we can think in terms of balancing budgets, believe it or not, something you haven't heard in many, many years, decades actually.
Trump listed off a number of priorities that he's focused on, including the border, inflation, and energy production. The meeting comes just as the GOP-led House passed Trump's budget resolution with a narrow 217 to 215 vote. The measure is now being debated in the Senate. Elon Musk taking part in that meeting, and Mr. Trump praised his efforts to cut government waste. Let's take a look at the markets. We're in the green. The Dow's up 90 at 43,711. NASDAQ is up more than 1%, and the S&P's up a quarter. It is 12:32.
It's Eric here, and with the election ended, there is change in the air. A new day dawns for American businesses. New regulations, new deregulation, new tax plan, new tax cuts. You may be smelling opportunity in the air. You may be seeing opportunity. Now is the time to consider reaching out to First Liberty Building and Loan and see if they might be able to help you put your plan that's in your head down to paper and see if they can help you capitalize on it. There are so many opportunities out there. If you need to borrow $750,000 or more, well, First Liberty might be able to help you. They make their own lending decisions. They've been doing it since the 90s. They know how to do it, and because the Frost family's been helping businesses since the 90s, they're still going to be there. You're not going to have lender rollover like you've had at other places. Reach out to them, firstlibertyga.com. FirstLibertyGA.com. Spend 10 minutes with them, see if you're a fit for them and them for you. FirstLibertyGA.com.
If it's the big story, it's on 2. Channel 2 Action News this morning. I'm Fred Blankenship.
And I'm Lori Wilson. Big stories are always breaking. It may start in the morning, but the impact continues all day.
We're constantly working to bring you fresh information from different perspectives.
This is Developing Live. Our reporters are working to get you all the angles right now.
When it comes to the big story, this is always the place to get ready for your day.
Join us on Channel 2 Action News this morning every day, 4:30 to 7.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from iRoofer, FGA Roofing. Is your roof starting to show its age? It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It happens. Taking on all that nature can throw at it year after year. Well, the good news is you're not stuck with a worn, outdated look on your home. If your home's exterior could use an upgrade, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, now is the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberline shingles, much more. Slate, tile, wood shake, and of course asphalt shingles. FGA has them all. A new designer roof can be an instant eye-appeal update for your home that'll last for many years, and your timing is terrific. FGA Roofing can be at your home the next day for a no obligation quote and get your job finished in 2 weeks in most cases. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off your final quote if you mention you heard about FGA Roofing from Scott Slade. Just search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Red alert in Cobb County, Sabrina, that Kennesaw area. Overturned tractor trailer, all lanes shut down. 75 northbound at Barrett Parkway, exit 269. Traffic forced off there. You can re-enter 75 north. Jammed up back through Marietta. Use Highway 41 Cobb Parkway. Also southbound delays. And a crash 400 southbound below Northridge in a couple of right lanes. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 76.
And we have 71 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
He's got the courage to tell you the truth, because the truth is what matters. You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Greetings. Delighted to have you with me. The phone number here across America, 877-97-ERIC. That's 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be delighted to have you. I want to go to the phones here to begin this half hour and talk to Rob Gullen from Orlando, Florida. Welcome, Rob. How are you?
Hey, Eric. How are you today?
Great. What's going on?
So the Associated Press had an article that I read 2 or 3 days ago, I think it was, talking about how the 40% of the cuts from Doge are not going to result in any savings whatsoever. My question is the Associated Press framing this to make it sound like these contracts that have already been fulfilled or due to be fulfilled are just whatever contracts, or are these contracts actually contracts that are likely to be renewed at the end of their term, so to speak, and by cutting them, that's how Doge is working towards saving money?
This is. I mentioned this the other day, and I'm glad you brought this up again, Rob. The Associated Press story is that all these things that Doge is finding, saying is going to cost a lot of money or save a lot of money, that it's going to save no money. Actually, yes, because what they're doing is they're finding renewable contracts. The money's already out the door for this year, but they're canceling the contract, so it's not going to be renewed next year. That's what they're doing. So yeah, it actually is going to save a lot of money. But the savings won't happen until next year because the money's already out the door for the subscription for this year. It's so frustrating. This is another part of media bias, I think, where they just couldn't be honest about what's going on here. That they literally are saving billions of dollars by refusing to renew subscriptions. Look at just Politico, for example, government-subsidized Politico. The government's been spending millions of dollars a year on professional subscriptions to Politico, and they're now getting rid of it. I thought it was very rich, by the way, Rob, that Chuck Todd, who, look, I do know and I like Chuck. We may disagree on things, but we've always been cordial with each other. And Chuck tweeted out, because Jeff Bezos has announced that the Washington Post editorial page is going to become about free people and free markets. Chuck Todd says, have folks realized yet that folks and corporations with massive government contracts are not to be trusted as owners of honest journalistic enterprises? Does that mean Politico can't be trusted given the millions of dollars in subscriptions it got from the federal government, Chuck? Really? Because, I mean, that kind of matters. I mean, if you can't trust them because of massive government contracts. Politico had massive government contracts. They were just called subscriptions. All right, Steve, you're going to be up next. Welcome. How are you, Steve?
I'm doing all right. About yourself?
I'm great. What's going on?
You really got my attention just a little while ago when you mentioned the new forms for an LLC. I'm a small business owner, and yeah, it's an LLC. But that's the first I've heard about this new forms or new things that need to be filled out or massive fines hit.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so for those of you who don't know, there is something called the Corporate Transparency Act that the Biden administration enacted. Congress wrote it when the Democrats controlled everything. It's been held up in court for a while. The lawsuit's been lost. So this is something called now the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. And LLCs in this country, with very limited exceptions, have to go to a website. It's at fincen.gov, fincen.gov. And you got to file, you need a FinCEN ID, and then you've got to file your paperwork with the Corporate Transparency Act. Now, you should go talk to your lawyer. If you've got a business lawyer, go talk to them, and they'll be able to help you. But essentially, if you're an LLC in this country, if you do general business, so this doesn't apply to securities, firms that do securities. It doesn't apply to finance companies, and there are like one or two other categories of very specific sorts of companies. But otherwise, pretty much every LLC in the country now has to go fill out this government paperwork. And if you don't, here's the thing. It is up to 2 years in jail and a $10,000 fine per violation per day.
Good grief.
Yes. And honest to God, I'm in your boat, Steve. I've got a great business lawyer. And I got an email from him, and I was like, I don't even know what this Corporate Transparency Act is. I've never heard of it. And he was like, yeah, the Democrats did it. It's been on hold in court for 2 years. Court case just got lost, and every LLC, including yours, and y'all, just to give you perspective on what I'm talking about, my LLC is me. I am the sole owner member of my LLC. I have 3 employees, and I have to do this. It just absolutely
I have
absurd.
0 employee. I'm a one-man show.
So look, I would, in all God's honesty, I would tell you need, if you got a business lawyer, go talk to them and see. But they're probably going to tell you you're going to have to fill it out. If you Google Corporate Transparency Act, you'll get the information on it. But yeah, it's absolutely absurd, Steve, that you and I, small businesses, barely any employees of mine, none in yours, got to fill out this stupid form where it's a $10,000 fine from the federal government now. And by the way, I want you to know, Steve, what the information is you have to give the government now. You have to give them all of your personal information, what happens to your business if it dies, who are your heirs, apparent heirs, so you got to give them all your family information, all this sort of stuff for corporate transparency. I don't, and by the way, just Steve, I'm going to let you go there, and I'll tell you, just if you got questions, you probably need to reach out to a small business lawyer and ask them if you actually have to. My lawyer said, yeah, there are practically no exceptions to the rule that I got to fill out. And I need you guys for perspective to understand something. Joe Biden's Internal Revenue Service leaked my private personal information to a left-wing group. Joe Biden's administration leaked my private information and tax returns to a left-wing group. Now, I want to give you some real perspective on this. In the criminal case against Donald Trump in New York, the Alvin Bragg case, where he was found guilty, Donald Trump made about a dozen payments to outside entities to funnel money to Stormy Daniels, and Donald Trump was charged with 35 counts in that case. 35 counts for paying off one porn star. You can quibble about the details, but that's the basic gist of it. 35 counts for one payment divided in multiple paths to get to the payee. An outside contractor for the Internal Revenue Service leaked the tax returns for hundreds of people. Hundreds of people. No, thousands. I'm sorry. It was thousands of people, including Donald Trump and me. This progressive outside contractor for the Internal Revenue Service leaked my personal and professional tax returns to an outside entity, and that guy was charged with a single count. He leaked tax returns on thousands of individuals, and the Biden administration charged him with a single count. Donald Trump paid a single person, and they charged him with 35 counts. The Biden administration all but slapped this guy on the wrist. If they could have held him down and tickled him as his punishment for doing it, they would have, because this guy leaked the tax returns of Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Tim Cook and the CEO of Microsoft and Warren Buffett and a bunch of others. Leaked Donald Trump's tax returns, leaked my tax returns, and he got a single charge with a single count. And now the Biden administration and the Democrats are telling every small business LLC in the United States that you must hand them over all of your private personal information to comply with something called the Corporate Transparency Act. All of your personal details, all of your business's personal details must go to the government, where it will, I assure you, be weaponized against all of us by a future Democratic administration. The only thing that can stop it is Republicans in Congress or the Trump administration acting very quickly, very decisively to shut it all down. It's the Corporate Transparency Act and the Federal Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. If you're a small business, particularly an LLC, you have to comply by March 21st, 2025. And what is so wild about the compliance is just how broad it is. It's the wildest thing. The Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, they want all of your personal information about you and your business given to the federal government, which, as someone who's already had the federal government under the Democrats leak my private information to a left-wing group, I assume at some point this will get leaked unless Donald Trump and the Republicans in Congress act swiftly to shut it down. There's no reason the government needs this information. And yet, here we are, thanks to the Democrats, and you'll notice no one in the media complained. Notice how members of the media are upset that Elon Musk might hypothetically access your private information. You would think they might point out that now the federal government wants all of us to hand over even more private information to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, whether we want to or not. It's a real scam. It's a real invasion of privacy, and yet the media is not upset about it. The media doesn't care. No one cares about the small business owner now having to run up even more compliance costs. You know, so a buddy of mine who listens to the program, who's a doctor, let me pull back up this tweet. He had this tweet a little while ago. He says, I had a state board of workers' comp compliance officer randomly walk into my doctor's office, take a look at my Department of Labor board, and tell me I also needed a list of physicians for my employees to see if they had an on-the-job injury. Now, he's in Georgia, where I am. And if you're a state legislator, I hope you understand the burden that you have on small businesses. A state board of workers' comp compliance officer literally randomly walks into a doctor's office, sees the labor law board, and tells him that he also has to add a list of physicians for the employees to see if they have an on-the-job injury, as if the employees don't already have a doctor. They work for a doctor. I'm sure they have a doctor, but he's out of compliance and has to put this on the board because the government has given a compliance officer the random power to invade his office at a time of the compliance officer's choosing to tell him he's out of compliance. I understand food inspectors. I kind of like the idea of the food inspector. I kind of like the idea that someone is going somewhere to make sure that the restaurant you're about to go to isn't leaving the raw chicken sitting on the counter all day before trying to cook it and giving you food poison. I kind of like that. But I really don't like the idea of a random workers' comp compliance officer having the power to randomly walk into a business and say, show me your labor law board. You've left out a space for doctors they can go to if they're injured on the job. You are not in compliance. Fix it or else. We create an army of bullies within the government, and then the media just can't understand why we all get a little giddy when we see a mass purge of federal bureaucrats, because they've never been bullied the way small businessmen have by government bureaucrats. Now, banks are being bullied. Banks are collapsing. Everything is topsy-turvy out there in the economy. You got the Treasury Secretary now warning the underpinnings of the economy are weaker than he thought. Swiss America has been the trusted leader in precious metals for 40 years, and they've been warning people about a secret war on cash. If you're interested in safeguarding your hard-earned cash from this secret war on cash, you need to get their report. It's completely free. They're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. They can educate you on protecting your assets in their free report, The Secret War on Cash. The report takes less than 15 minutes to read. It can save your retirement. It can save your finances. Have you seen the price of gold lately? It is insane. Also kind of a harbinger of we're not out of the inflation woods yet. Get your free copy of this report about the secret war on cash by calling or texting 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash includes digital forms of currency. It's growing and spreading, so read the report, The Secret War on Cash, completely free. Just mention Eric, E-R-I-C-K, when you call or text 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. The report is completely free. Just mention Eric when you call or text 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Red alert continues in Kennesaw. All lanes shut down. Overturned tractor trailer, I-75 northbound, Barrett Parkway, exit 269. Traffic forced off there. Once you get off there, you can re-enter 75 north, but if you're jammed, stuck in the backups through Marietta, use Highway 41, Cobb Parkway as an alternate. It's also causing southbound delays out of Ackworth. Now we got a travel advisory by the airport. Crash, multiple left lanes. 285 westbound, the Interloop Riverdale Road, exit 60. Use Forest Parkway, Highway 166 or I-20 westbound, and a stalled box truck 85 north near Georgia 400. Right now they're holding multiple right lanes to try that move that one off to the right. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
All the notifications you need.
The story developing in Marietta.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
We're following breaking news in Atlanta.
All in one place.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it today.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Hey folks, it's Shelley Winter here. Sometimes they make fun of me around the office because I doze off at my desk while doing show prep. Well, you know why that happened? It's because of a lack of sleep. I have sleep apnea. So if you snore or have sleep apnea also, you're not living life to the fullest. So listen up. I know you're tired, but in all seriousness, this is important. My friends over at Palmetto Sleep are changing lives with a custom-fit oral appliance that stops your snoring and treats sleep apnea. I'm not talking about something you buy out of a supermarket. This is a custom-made for your mouth and covered by your private medical insurance. What I love most is that they do everything from the diagnosis to the delivery of the oral appliance and everything in between. They even provide a take-home sleep study and virtual consults. If you're ready for a great night's sleep, you're ready for Palmetto Sleep. Go to palmettosleep.com. That's palmettosleep.com right now. Don't suffer from another sleepless night. palmettosleep.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Taking the complicated and making it simple. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be happy to have you. David's got some information on this. It's called, by the way, because I'm remembering I need to fill it out, the Beneficial Ownership Information Report. It is a federal regulation. And so, David, you're going to be up next. Welcome.
Yeah, hey, Eric. Love your show. Love your podcast. It's the only podcast my wife will allow me to listen to in a long car ride.
I appreciate that.
Thanks. But yeah, I love hearing your story here today about the CTA. I don't own a business. I'm not a small business owner or lawyer or anything like that. I'm just got a regular corporate job. But yet I was notified I have to file under this CTA because it happens. I'm on the homeowners board of my neighborhood. And all homeowners associations are considered reporting companies. I understand that I'm on the booster club for my local school sports. I'm here that I'm going to have to be filing under that. And it's just, of course, nobody wants to serve in these volunteer capacities anyway. I don't get paid for anything. There's no, but I'm a beneficial director. And so therefore I need to give my social security number, my tax records, all that stuff, just so that I can go and, help plant flowers in the front of our neighborhood or keep the pool clean or something like that. It's crazy. And of course, no one wants to do that. So we're not going to be able to get people to serve on the school board, not the school board, but the local booster club or our homeowners association. It's ridiculous.
That is genuinely insane. Genuinely insane. Good grief.
And you mentioned getting a lawyer to talk about this. We got this information from our property manager lawyer that said we've tried all different ways to fight this, and this is looks like this is true. You're going to need to start filling this out, and the FinCEN report. I've got the website and all that sort of stuff. So it looks like whoever needed to research this has done it and has come to the conclusion that yes, homeowners associations are included.
That is just that's wild to me. It's absolutely, and nobody knows. And it literally is a $10,000 fine or 2 years in jail for noncompliance.
Yeah, and if you don't realize this, you're out, striping the fields on the local high school field or something like that, and the police are going to come and arrest you because you didn't fill out some corporate form.
Absolutely insane. I will have to say, and David, thank you for that. I'm hoping that with the Loper Bright decision, that we might actually get a Supreme Court case out of this saying that's too much. The whole thing is just genuinely wild to me that you got to go through this. It's nuts. It's nuts. And yet here you go. It's not a cumbersome thing to fill out, but it's an invasion of your privacy. And it's absolutely crazy. Genuinely insane. So here we are. Thanks, Joe Biden. Maybe Donald Trump can do something about this. When we come back, we got to move on. The House has a budget resolution, and now the real fight comes with their enemy, not the Democrats, the Senate.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. We have a red alert right now on I-75 North in Kennesaw. This is at Barrett Parkway. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center with what's causing the backups.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be with us for a while, Sabrina. Overturned tractor trailer 75 North at Barrett Parkway, exit 269. Traffic is forced off at that exit where you can then re-enter I-75. But if you're stuck in the backups or heading up 75, I'd go ahead and use Highway 41 as your alternate. Sabrina?
All right. It's going to be a beautiful day. We have sunshiny skies right now. Afternoon highs around 76. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. A civil rights complaint has been filed against Fulton County Schools, claims Palestinian and Muslim students in Fulton County schools are being subjected to harassment and discrimination.
The Council on American Islamic Relations and Asian Americans Advancing Justice claims students have been harassed in person and online ever since the October 2023 Hamas attacks on Israel. Attorney Aaron Butler says they're making several demands.
Condemn all instances of discrimination against Palestinian, Arab, and Muslim American students and issue a public statement acknowledging the harm they committed.
And the school district says in a statement it's committed to fostering a safe learning environment. In Fulton County, Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
The Supreme Court heard oral arguments in a case alleging reverse discrimination against a plaintiff, Marlene Ames, who says that she was passed over for promotion and demoted because she's straight. She talked to the media after the arguments.
I feel confident on how it went today. The justices saw clearly what was the issue and didn't want to go outside of that realm.
Now, Ames versus the Ohio Department of Youth Services is set to be the first Supreme Court case to look at workplace discrimination under the Trump administration, which dismantled diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in the federal government. President Trump says his budget cuts will not impact Social Security and Medicare. Speaking at his first cabinet meeting of his second term, the president promised that only government waste will be on the chopping block. President Trump again claiming that dead people are currently getting Social Security checks. He said his administration is tracing those checks down now. The Vatican says Pope Francis is showing further slight improvement. The 88-year-old pontiff remains in critical condition. He has double pneumonia and a lung infection. He's been in Rome in the hospital there for 13 days now. As we take a look at the markets, we will see how you're doing with your money this afternoon. And the Dow is currently down 148 at 43,472. NASDAQ is in positive territory, up 0.5%, and the S&P is also in the green. It's 102.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects. Now we need partners like you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing. Are you a plumber but looking for a better work-life balance? Superior Plumbing is looking for a few good plumbers to join their team. They offer a stable career with great pay and benefits. More importantly, you can build your career with a trusted company.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
A red alert continues in Kennesaw. All lanes shut down. 75 northbound Barrett Parkway, overturned tractor trailer. Traffic being forced off there. Use Highway 41 Cobb Parkway. Southbound slow as well out of Ackworth. And a travel advisory 85 northbound at 400. Stalled truck in multiple right lanes. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Sunny skies today and warm, high 76, lows tonight in the upper 40s, low 50s. Tomorrow, a cold front moves through with cloudy skies, but a slim chance of an isolated rain shower. Daytime high 68, cooling down to the low 40s on Friday morning. Daytime high 64.
WSB Storm Tracker radar is clear. It's sunny and 71 right now in Alpharetta. 71 in Douglasville. Chamblee has a mix of clouds and sun and 70 degrees right now. Here on Peachtree Street, 72. More news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. Love having you. The phone number, if you want to be on the show, 877-973-7425, should you wish to be here. As an aside, I just tweeted to Russ Vought and Donald Trump that they should kill this beneficial ownership information report for the Federal Crimes Network or whatever. It is absolutely stupid. Hopefully they'll do something with it and kill it. Nonetheless, I do have good connections there. We'll see. We got to move on, though. We got to move on because we've got to talk about what happened in the House. What happened in the House Representatives? You got to understand this. If you talk to individuals who are elected, and it doesn't matter whether you talk to Democrats or Republicans, what Democrats and Republicans will both tell you in, for example, the House of Representatives, is that the other side is the opposition, not the enemy. See, Democrats in the House of Representatives view the Republicans in the House of Representatives as their opponent, and Republicans in the House view Democrats in the House as their opponent. And the Republicans and the Democrats together have a shared common enemy: the Senate. It's true. It's true. Honestly, I can't tell you how often I have talked to Democrats and Republicans, and they refer to the opposing House as the enemy. Now, I know senators, Democratic and Republican senators, they refer to the House as their enemy. Their opponents are the other party. Their enemy is the other House. And it happens at the state level. My gosh, it happens at the state level. Houses and Senates tend to hate each other. And it doesn't matter, Democrat, Republican, the House Democrats and Republicans are far more cordial to each other than the House Democrats are to the Senate Democrats and the Senate Republicans are to the House Republicans. Herein lies the problem. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, pulled off a miracle last night. My buddy Joe Cunningham, he is the program director for Town Square in Lafayette, Louisiana. I am on the radio down there, and we were texting last night, and he says he's starting to call Mike Johnson Magic Mike. I got to give Joe credit for that. You know, Joe, you know what the rule is, Joe? I heard this the other day from a famous politician in D.C., the first time I have to say, as my good friend Joe Cunningham calls him, Magic Mike. The second time I get to say, as some say, Magic Mike. And the third time I get to say, as I've always called him, Magic Mike. But it's Joe Cunningham, longtime friend, program director down there in Lafayette. It's Magic Mike. Mike Johnson pulled off real magic last night. They did not think they were going to be able to pull it off for a while. Well, Mike Johnson never doubted. Everybody else doubted. I was talking to Republicans yesterday afternoon. They're like, Warren Davidson's not budging. Thomas Massey's not budging. Victoria Spartz not budging. Well, Victoria and Warren, they folded. The president did get involved, made some promises, twisted some arms. Mike Johnson was able to get his budget passed. It's actually a very, very big deal. And what happens from here is it has to go to the Senate where the enemies deal with it. The Senate is the enemy. And the Senate wants something the House can't deliver. The Senate wants to make President Trump's tax cuts permanent. So here's the way it works. The reason they have to do it this year is because the Trump tax cuts expire at the end of this year. If the House and the Senate do absolutely nothing, if they do nothing at all, the tax cuts expire and tax rates go up. And, well, the Democrats don't have to vote. So the Democrats can't be accused of raising taxes because they will have voted for nothing. They'll have voted for no tax increases. However, if you make the tax cuts permanent, then the Democrats will have to take an affirmative vote to raise people's taxes, and it becomes a real attack. It's a real big deal. So the Senate wants to make them permanent. Steve Daines and others want to make them permanent. They're actually having a meeting at the White House. There's a cabinet meeting today, and then they're going to meet to talk about it. Mike Johnson's going to be there as well to make the tax cuts permanent. How can they do it? So the House, though, has to start the framework because money spent, the legislation has to come from the House. So the Congress works. That's the way the Constitution works, that appropriations measures come from the House. And so the House typically passes its budget resolution, which goes to the Senate, which then vetoes the House resolution and inserts whole new language and sends it back to the House. So the real work begins now. Mike Johnson had a very, 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 very hard fight getting all of the Republicans on the line here. And it's made more complicated because like Mike Waltz is gone, Elise Stefanik is gone, several other House members have gone to the Trump administration, which left the GOP with a one-seat majority. They could only lose one vote. They lost Thomas Massey from Kentucky. They expected to lose his vote. Now there's a path forward for all of them. And this comes from DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. I want to play you some audio. I was on with Erin Burnett last night. Erin Burnett, I was on CNN with her, and she interviewed last night a veteran who lost his job. The veteran, out of work, he's very upset about having lost work.
I was just crushed, just devastated by the news. I never would have expected something like that in my email. I thought it was just going to be just a regular work day. I show up, log into my email, and there it is, just sitting there. I printed it out, sent it to myself, so I had it for future use. I had a one-on-one with my director around 10 a.m. By noon, my account was disabled.
Y'all, I'm not going to beat this guy up. He lost his job. Sergeant Luke Granzioni, I believe his name is, Granziani. Not going to beat him up. He lost his job. He's a veteran, moved over to the civil service. He lost his job. I'm not going to root for someone losing their job. I don't mind civil servants losing their jobs. Layoffs happen in the private sector. But so Erin Burnett said she was going to interview this guy. And she interviewed him, after she played a clip from Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Marjorie Taylor Greene actually said essentially that civil servants aren't real people. They don't deserve the money. It was kind of a snooty comment. It's one that doesn't play well with people of common sense who have some basic empathy. Like, I'm okay with government employees losing their jobs, but to say they're not real people and who cares? That's a little bit too nasty for me, even as I am on the same side of her people get laid off in the private sector all the time. So I really thought it kind of hacked me off, if I'm honest with you. It actually did make me mad that Aaron Burnett is giving a retired veteran who lost his job a sympathetic on-air portrayal of how unjustified it was and how important he is. Barack Obama laid off 40,000 active duty combat soldiers, and not a single network, because I looked. I went into LexisNexis and looked. Not a single network did a profile of a single one of the 40,000 soldiers Barack Obama dismissed from the job who were active duty.
So it's not how they should be talking. I do think they're raising valid concerns, though. I mean, Jo-Ann Fabrics laying off people in 900 stores this week in the private sector. When Barack Obama was president, he laid off 40,000 active duty combat soldiers, and no one in the media did a profile of any of them. But the media wants to highlight federal employees who are losing their jobs.
Yes! Man, that guy, he knew what he was talking about, because that guy was me. 40,000 active duty combat soldiers were laid off by Barack Obama. Not a single one of them got a fawning profile on any news network. Not a single employee of Jo-Ann Fabric, which is shutting down 900 stores. They've been in business since 1945, I think I read. Mothers and grandmothers used to go to the store. They're shutting down. Not a single one of those employees will get a fawning profile. But, they'll blame Trump for it. Doge has a way to find more money. These contracts, we had a call earlier. The Associated Press is saying Doge isn't saving any money with all these contracts. Well, yeah, because the money's already been spent, but they canceled the contract, and it's not going to be automatically renewed now next year. It's not a bad thing. It's saving money. They are saving money. Now, some of it they overstated. Turns out 5 things last week they said they were saving billions of dollars on. It turned out to be millions. But the media's like, it's only $1 million. Well, I don't know about you, but $1 million is a lot of money to me. Ben Franklin said a penny saved is a penny earned, and the news media is like, $1 million saved? Not a big deal. Spend it. So, not a coincidence so many media companies are going bankrupt. Doge has a path for the GOP with their efficiencies, saving on labor costs. Labor costs actually adds up, even to the federal government. You can give me the spin all you want that, the federal government has fewer people than they ever have. Yeah, because we did have this thing called a world war. And we've been downsizing ever since. We went through a Cold War, and we've been downsizing from the Cold War. These precious, precious souls who somehow can't lose their jobs. Why is it that you and I can lose our jobs and no one in the media is going to cry about it, but a government employee is not allowed to lose their job? So Mike Johnson pulled off a miracle last night, getting the House Republicans, all but Thomas Massie, to go along with the budget resolution. By the way, don't beat up on Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie has legitimate concerns about the size and scope of the federal government, and the spending package shows that the deficit is going to grow and the national debt is going to grow because of the package that was passed. That's his big concern. Now, the rest of the Republicans say we have agreements to actually cut real spending. Thomas Massie's been played so many times, he's not willing to be played with at this point. He wanted more sizable cuts, so he voted against it. It's always the conservatives who were bullied to go along with the budget resolution, and most of them did. But don't blast Thomas Massie for refusing to go along with something. He has been down this road many, many, many times. Where the rubber's going to meet the road, though, is in the United States Senate. Because the leading senators, Daines and Graham and Thune and several others, they want Donald Trump's tax cuts made permanent because they don't want the Democrats, if the Democrats were to take back Congress in the future, they don't want the Democrats to have an easy way to raise taxes. They want to make it painful for them to raise taxes. And the only way to make it painful for them to raise taxes is to make the tax cuts permanent, which they should do anyway. Stop having this sort of Damocles over the American economy's head, waiting for it to fall if Republicans go out of power. Well, we know taxes are going up, and we know exactly how they're going up. Make the Democrats suffer and give the economy some reassurance that there's going to be pain from the Democrats if they try to raise taxes. The tax cuts need to be made permanent. The problem is that it's going to complicate the process. The Senate wants two separate bills, as I mentioned yesterday. They want to kick the tax cuts till later this year. They want to do a comprehensive continuation right now because the government's going to shut down in about 3 weeks, and the Democrats are already saying, we're just going to let y'all shut it down. Y'all are going to have to agree. You're not getting a single vote from us. I personally hope the government does shut down, and that allows Russ Vought to do his magic to show people that you can shut down the government and not even miss it.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
120 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Red alert continues in Kennesaw. Overturned truck crash. They're trying to clean it up. 75 Parkway, exit number 269. All lanes are shut down there at Barrett Parkway. Your traffic's forced off there. You can re-enter 75 north at the same spot. Use Highway 41. And a travel advisory in Lithia Springs. Crash in a few right lanes, 20 westbound at Thornton. Traffic brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off. And for UPS shipping, add code radio and get an extra 5% off. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Dozens of flights have already been canceled or delayed.
Weather.
3.5 inches of rain.
Traffic.
Multiple vehicles involved, including a tractor trailer.
Everything you need to know before you start your day.
Man wanted for murder in Atlanta.
Atlanta's morning news. Tomorrow starting at 5.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
For many of you, it's happening. Your hair's thinning, your crown's disappearing, and maybe hair loss has you feeling your identity is lost altogether. Well, I got good news. It's Advanced Hair's incredible, yet simple, one-day treatment that starts regrowing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's Mark Aaron back with you. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but what about regrowing your hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to their world-class physicians, it's not maybe your hair will regrow, it's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, and I've seen their results, friends. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 470-660-HAIR. That's 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
You take it for granted, but it's the biggest piece of moving equipment in your home, your garage door. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. When trust matters, like when your garage door doesn't open or needs to be replaced, trust us. Here's why. All Four Seasons is a local, family-owned company built over 25 years ago on honesty, customer service, and teamwork. If you've got garage door issues, trust us to repair or replace. We'll make it easy. All, the number 4, seasonsgarages.com.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
February is Heart Health Month, and there's no better time to take care of your heart. This is Scott Slade. It's the perfect month to call Virtual Imaging and get your free heart scan to help you stay ahead of heart disease before you even know there's a problem. You've been hearing us talk about how Virtual Imaging's free heart scan can save lives. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States, and any problem with your heart that you can detect early means you have a better chance of living a longer life. Call Virtual Imaging today and get your free heart scan. What are you waiting for? Call 770-678-SCAN. It's quick, painless, and you'll get a clearer picture of your heart's health so you know where you stand. And it's a great way to mark Heart Health Month. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Virtual Imaging now and schedule your free heart scan with a few minimum requirements. It's quick, easy, and could save your life. I've done it. Call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Because your heart deserves it. If not for yourself, do it for your family.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. He may not tell you what you want to hear, but he tells you what you need to hear. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
Howdy. How are you? Welcome. It's Erick Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the phone number. Got a listener who pinged me on social media. He says, let me hang on, find this. It refreshed on me. I hate it when it does that. It's Ann. It's Ann. Text me. She says, we have an LLC with 2 members, my sister-in-law and me. We own a vacation home. We will have to fill out the beneficial information form or for financial crimes. That's how broad and absurd this law from the Biden administration is. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, I got to play you some video. One of my good friends is Doug Collins. Doug Collins is now the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Speaking of saving money, this is Secretary Collins.
Hey, everybody. You know, it's been fast-paced, and I keep coming to you with what we're doing. And today I've got a number. I got some big news for you. And look, this is why we talk about efficiency and getting the job done for veterans here at the VA. Right now, I've just been told we are just the first step of almost $2 billion. That's billion with a B that we found in contracts that are cutting. Those are things that we're saving now that we can put back into health care, benefits, making sure that we're doing what the VA is supposed to do, and that is health and veterans benefits. You know, stands to reason. But hey, you got to see this. I've been giving this report. It says we were taking millions of contracts in dollars in contracts to create things like PowerPoint slide and meeting minutes. Folks, if you don't know how to run PowerPoint slides, learn. It's a tutorial on your computer. Go learn for free. It's okay. Take your own notes. Wow, I'll send you one of my pencils if you need one, but we're not paying millions of dollars for consultants to do this for us. Also, I found out coaching and training. Millions of dollars in contracts for coaching and training. If you need coaching and training, that's what you have in a supervisor. And if your supervisor can't coach you and train you in their job, then I tell you what, let me know. I'll come help you. We'll be ready to go. And also, this last one kills me. It was millions of dollars for executive support. You know, I love you and I support you, but we can figure out how to do things on our own. We don't need outside people coming in to help us with executive support. Look, these are there's going to be more coming. This is going to have some details that are going to be coming out for you. And also, there's more contracts coming. So
I love Doug Collins. He's just the nicest guy. And he's a great pick for Veterans Affairs. Former congressman, also on the radio for a while. He's just a good dude. And yes, he, by the way, has that much energy in real life. He really does have that much energy. But he is cutting the waste at the VA. Now, some of you have waste your money, a computer, and you need a new one, and Vision Computers can help you with that. They can save you money, make you more efficient. They can be your department of home computer or office computer efficiency by building you a new machine that is very quick, works with AI, doesn't slow you down, and just works. And then you get their tech support. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of 5-star reviews for them and their tech support, where you get a special number if you ever have a question at all. faster than you can search Google for the answer. You can call this number. They're guaranteed to answer, and they'll give you the answer that you need. And also, they work with businesses. So if you've got a business and you don't have time to, you don't have the money for the in-house guy to deal with everybody's computer, you can call Vision for $179 a year per computer. They will become that person. So each of your employees get the number. It makes you more efficient. It keeps you online. It keeps you up and going. And they build great machines, laptops and desktops. Go to visioncomputers.com. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. 404-COMPUTE, anywhere nationwide. Tell them I sent you. You'll save even more money. visioncomputers.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. New this half hour, an update today on the murders of two 13-year-old boys in Atlanta last summer. Atlanta police announcing today they've arrested two suspects in the shooting deaths of Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman, who were shot outside Freeman's home on Spark Street.
These individuals that committed the crime here on July 2nd were dangerous individuals that, if allowed to remain free on the streets of Atlanta, Georgia, were going to use guns again to harm.
Now, Police Chief Darren Shearbaum says multiple suspects were already in custody, but today they arrested Traydon Crawford and Allie Caldwell. They're facing murder and gang charges. Mostly sunny and 76 this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. President Trump holding his first cabinet meeting of his second term today. He said he still plans to issue tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada on April 2nd. He also said he plans to hit the EU with 25% tariffs.
The European Union was formed in order to screw the United States. That's the purpose of it. And they've done a good job of it, but now I'm president.
And the president says his budget cuts will not impact Social Security and Medicare. He made that statement also today during that meeting. A civil rights complaint has been filed against the Fulton County School District after claims of discrimination against Palestinian and Muslim students. The civil rights complaint comes from the Council on American Islamic Relations and Asian Americans Advancing Justice. The district saying in a statement today it takes all allegations of discrimination seriously. The FDA gives the green light to a smartwatch safety feature. The feature on the Pixel Watch 3 is designed to ask a watch user if they're okay if a pulse is not detected. If there is no response, the watch will call 911 and also gives the location of the user. Now, it's currently available already in 14 countries. The FDA's approval now paves the way for it to be available here in the United States by the end of next month. It's 1:32.
When it's time to replace your windows, make sure you have options and get to choose the energy-efficient window that is right for your home, your style, and your budget. Dave Baker here for the only window company I recommend, Nelson Exteriors. With Nelson, you're in charge. Choose from many top-rated window manufacturers like Andersen and MI, all backed by Nelson's worry-free lifetime labor warranty. For your replacement windows, pick the company that's more picky than you. Google Nelson Exteriors.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Our farmers feed us all. For generations, they've done what's best for the land. So why is the litigation industry threatening Georgia farmers' go-to crop protection tool? Without glyphosate-based herbicides, crop yields will drop, costs will soar, and we'll all see even higher grocery bills. Farmers need to be supported, not controlled. To keep glyphosate available in our state, go to TakeControlGeorgia.com. Paid for by Modern Ag Alliance in support of Georgia farmers.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Got a leaky pipe? Trouble with your heat? Ace Hardware Home Services is right around the corner with trusted pros to fix it. From plumbing to heating and cooling, we'll keep your home running smoothly all year long. Find us at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
At Butler Lexus of South Atlanta, you'll enjoy luxury in every detail. Enjoy complimentary Starbucks coffee and a relaxing lounge while their Lexus certified technicians service your Lexus. Experience the Butler difference today. Call 1-800-NEW-LEXUS to schedule your service appointment.
Alex Williams has a look at the roads.
Red alert continues in Kennesaw, 75 North Barrett Parkway exit 269. They're cleaning up this tractor trailer crash, and as I speak, the right lanes are back open, but it's going to stay jammed out of Marietta. Continue to use Highway 41. Now we're red alert Lithia Springs, all lanes shut down 20 westbound at Thornton Road exit 44. Use Highway 78. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 76. That's trending about 15 degrees above average. Lows tonight in the upper 40s, low 50s. But change is on the way in the form of a cold front on Thursday. Cloudy skies, high 68. A slim chance of an isolated rain shower. Cooling down on Friday, morning low 42. Afternoon high 64.
More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Smart, fearless, and occasionally funny. You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls across America, I have what I think is a genius idea. I think it's a genius idea. You know, Mitch McConnell is retiring. Now, let me just pause here and say something. Many of you, I could feel it in the force. I know you. You grimaced at the name Mitch McConnell. We have a 6-3 majority on the United States Supreme Court because Mitch McConnell was willing to take all of the bullets from the left by refusing to even allow a hearing on Merrick Garland. You may not like Mitch McConnell because he votes in ways you don't like. He takes positions you don't like. You would not have a 6-3 Supreme Court without Mitch McConnell, because I assure you, I'm old enough to remember when Bob Dole led the Republicans in the Senate, when Trent Lott led the Republicans in the Senate, and when Bill Frist led the Republicans in the Senate. One of Mitch McConnell's selling points when he became Republican leader in the Senate was that he was willing to take all the heat to protect his members. That was his job. His job was to be the target for everyone to fire at so that other Republicans would skate. And he did it. He did it successfully. Everybody, left, right, and center, hates him as a result of it. And you have a 6-3 Supreme Court and, by the way, a majority of seats on the U.S. Courts of Appeals singularly because of McConnell. You can say, well, Donald Trump nominated the judges, and that's fair. Donald Trump would not have the available seats in the courts but for Mitch McConnell. So I have disagreed with him vigorously over the years. I have criticized him. He has come at me. I got taken off Fox News because McConnell's wife complained about me. She was on the board of directors. I have personally been on the receiving end of McConnell's ire, and he is retiring, and God bless him for a public service that got us a 6-3 Supreme Court and got major conservative wins through the United States Congress. Again, you may not like him. You may not appreciate the things that he did because many times he operated without a lot of publicity. But Mitch McConnell did yeoman's work on protecting the Second Amendment. He did yeoman's work on advancing pro-life judges. He got us a 6-3 Senate, and he will go down as one of the most remarkable leaders of the United States Senate, whether you like him or not, whether you're willing to say something nice about the man or not. But if you like what you're getting from the U.S. Supreme Court, you owe Mitch McConnell a debt of gratitude for refusing, despite inordinate amounts of pressure, even from Republicans, to relent on that Merrick Garland nomination. And now he's leaving. That opens up the Commonwealth of Kentucky Senate seat. I think I have a genius idea. I got a suspicion. I have a name that whether you're a moderate Republican or hardcore MAGA or principled, long-held conservative belief, I think I have a name. Scott Jennings. Oh, you know Scott Jennings. Scott Jennings is every day the conservative on CNN driving progressives insane. Scott Jennings actually got to start working for Mitch McConnell. Became a political operator in Kentucky, is a consummate political operator, and has some unbridled love for that state. My gosh, he is through and through bluegrass. I think his blood is actually blue, that guy. And Scott Jennings would be the perfect Republican Senate nominee from Kentucky. One, he's won a lot of races for other people in that state. Scott Jennings actually is a political consultant in the state. He does lobbying. He does political consulting. Scott Jennings actually knows how to win the state because you've got this Louisville dynamic. I'm sorry, Louisville. You got the Louisville dynamic. You got to put a bunch of marbles in your mouth and try to say Louisville, and you'll go Louisville. You got the Louisville dynamic, and you got the Lexington dynamic. You got broad swaths of that state where you can get a Republican elected. It's not as hardcore a state as you might think. Remember, it's got a Democratic governor. You got Frankfurt in there. You got Paducah in there. It's an interesting state. You got Bowling Green as well. You got some college towns in there, but it's socially, I guess I would say, culturally conservative, but it's not hardcore MAGA. I mean, Daniel Cameron lost the governor's race to Andy Beshear. He probably should have won that race, but he didn't. Scott Jennings makes a lot of sense. He actually does make a lot of sense. I was texting a buddy of mine earlier. I was like, I think this is a good idea. I want to say it on the radio. And he's like, don't let Scott know. It might freak him out. His wife might come hunt you down. I think that Mrs. Jennings could be encouraged to support her husband for the United States Senate. I think this is a good idea. I'm telling you now, I am endorsing formally. He doesn't even know he's running for the United States Senate. But I'm telling you, Scott Jennings, United States Senate, liberal heads will explode beyond CNN. Now, I got to move on to others. I was sitting here during break, and I saw something about McConnell. I was like, who would be good? And I love Daniel Cameron. Don't get me wrong, but Cameron, he ran for governor. He lost that race. He's always kind of seen as an heir apparent to McConnell. But after losing that race, makes me think, you know what? Maybe a fresh face. And Scott Jennings is Scott Jennings on CNN has gotten everybody from MAGA to moderate Republican cheering him on CNN. So why not? I'll tell you someone who doesn't have everybody cheering. That would be Elon Musk. I don't have a problem with Elon Musk and what Doge is doing, but I actually am a tremendous fan of the work of deeply cynical political writer Peter Hamby. Peter Hamby is at Puck News. He used to be, when I was at CNN, Peter was at CNN, and Peter was a young guy when he was at CNN, so was I. He now does something for Snapchat on the board of the Shorenstein Center. Here's my Peter Hamby quick take is when I was at CNN, Peter Hamby was the guy who was willing to go anywhere to meet real voters. And what I mean by real voters is oftentimes you pay attention to the media. When the media, local media, national media, when they have man on the streets, oftentimes it's the exact same man. And so Peter, when he was at CNN, I always appreciated, he covered politics, he'd get out on the campaign trail, and he would go to the off-beaten path and find the voters there. And he's continuing to do that in his new perch at Puck. And he sat and watched some focus groups of swing voters and Trump voters. And he's got a piece at Puck. It's in the show notes. It is subscriber, though, although you can put in an email address to get free access to it. But these voters, they don't like Elon Musk. They think he's a tool. They think he's selfish. They think he's weird. Some of them called him radical. I want to say something, and I don't want to offend you. I will say I'm cheerleading his Doge effort, and Elon Musk is obviously a smart man. Here's the smartest thing about Elon Musk, and I'm not making this up. I don't mean this, Snide. I actually mean this very highly. So A's, if you're an A, you surround yourself with other A's. If you're a B, you surround yourself with C's and D's. See, if you're an A caliber person, you're going to have the best people around you because you understand the very best people around you are going to help you. And yes, those people may decide to go off on their own path and say, you know what, I can do this just as well as that guy. And so the A's build a farm team of A's who can go out into the world and also be brilliant leaders. But a B caliber character hires C's and D's around them because the B caliber character, God forbid you put an A around him, the B is going to say, the A is going to get my job. I can't hire someone smarter than me. I got to hire people stupider than me to make me look smart. Elon Musk surrounds himself with brilliant people. Elon Musk has a brilliant team at SpaceX and Tesla. He's kind of a visionary, but he hires really smart people at SpaceX and at Tesla to do things he's not capable of doing, but he sees, he has a vision that this needs to be done. I mean, Elon gets the credit for SpaceX. Understand, I got a SpaceX cap on my wall over there. I'm a big fan of the company. Elon Musk, though, is not the day-to-day scientific operator of SpaceX. He's an A, and he's surrounded himself with A's. Look at the Doge effort. He's surrounded himself with this 19-year-old. He's got Big Balls working for him, and Big Balls, whether you like the name he uses online, whether you like the fact that he's 19 years old, he's a brilliant programmer. He's a sharp kid. But there's something else about Elon Musk, and this is the thing. I don't want to offend you by this, but Elon also is a little weird. He's a little on the spectrum, I guess we could say, a little Asperger's-y, autism, something. And he lives a private life that is horrendous. He has 1 billion kids from 2 billion women, something like that. He is not in his, he may be, he's a personally nice guy. I've never met him. I don't know him. I know people who, but anyways, he's a tremendously nice, fun person to hang out with. But he clearly has issues. And a lot of people of that wealth, particularly people of that wealth and also kind of on the spectrum, they're kind of like that. It's like, I'll tell you, I know Mark Zuckerberg, and we have a cordial relationship, and I respect the hell out of him because he's in a world where he is a billionaire's billionaire, and he genuinely loves his wife and kids and would rather be home with his wife and kids than anything else. And I got to tell you, I don't care whether you're on the left, the right, the center, apolitical, whatever. I admire the people who, at the end of the day, would rather be home on the couch with their wife and kids than out partying, doing drugs with friends and things like that. Zuckerberg is a profoundly normal person. When he and I get together, we spend more time talking about what he's been grilling and smoking in his backyard. He's got a big green egg. And I would much prefer to hang out with someone like that who is a normal person who comes across on TV or whether it may be an oddity, but is actually a totally normal person, loves his wife and kids, is a family man. Musk isn't quite of a family man. He's and his brain is always spinning. And look, I get that. My brain never turns off. I go to sleep at night and wake up in the middle of the night in mid-sentence from where I fell asleep. I get that. But people kind of see him as a goofball, as a little weird, as a little bit out there. And that's what this focus group shows. Now, the upside for Donald Trump is that Musk is so visible right now. And by the way, I actually think Donald Trump intuitively understands this. No one is taking shots at Donald Trump. If anything, they're insulting Trump, saying, you're the puppet. People spent 2 freaking years telling us Donald Trump was going to be the second coming of Hitler, and now he's a puppet, Elon Musk. It helps Donald Trump that Elon Musk is the visible guy taking all the shots. Elon Musk, they're going to hate me for saying this, but it's true. Elon Musk is to Trump what Mitch McConnell has been for the Senate Republicans. Mitch McConnell was the guy who took every attack and everybody left, right, and center ultimately hated McConnell. But it's okay. He didn't care. He was going to get reelected in Kentucky, and the Republicans were going to get stuff done that they wanted to block stuff. Musk is the guy who's taken all of the shots for Trump, who will fade away within 100 days because his position's only an 180-day position. And he will have transformed the government in those 180 days, and he'll get the blame, not Trump. So it's okay that people don't particularly care for him. But you know who Peter Hamby says in this focus group the swing voters really, 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 really hate? Democrats. As much as the Democrats try to vilify Elon Musk is nothing compared to the Democrats. Here's a quote. The Democrats used to be about helping the middle class, health care, trying to get an affordable wage. They shifted far left. They kind of forgot about their base to get these extreme groups like all the DEI people, the middle class, helping the unions. That used to be their bread and butter. They moved away from that, and that's why they lost elections. The Democrats are perceived as too far left and too woke, and they've gone broke because of it. The voters don't care for Elon Musk, but they positively despise the Democrats. And that gives Musk and Trump an advantage the Democrats can't even appreciate in their bubble, where in their bubble, everybody on MSNBC loves them and hates the right. No. Out in the heartland, in the swing states where you have to win to get power, they really hate the Democrats still. Now, you will love Old Glory Bank if you're in the heartland and you're a conservative and you don't want to do business with one of those big woke banks that have a bunch of progressives calling the shots. Old Glory Bank is a bank by conservatives for conservatives. You will not be debanked at Old Glory Bank. They are my bank. They can be your bank. They really are a great bank, y'all. I love the management team. They're solid. They're in Oklahoma. They do, home loans. So they do mortgages, car loans, HELOCs, lines of credit, business loans, you name it. It's fully functional, fully operational bank. Go to oldglorybank.com, fill out your account. oldglorybank.com if you want to be a member FDIC, equal housing lender, terms and conditions apply. But also, I've invested in Old Glory Bank, and you can too. If you want to buy shares in Old Glory Bank, you go to own.oldglorybank.com. You can join me, John Rich, Ben Carson, Larry Elder, others. We've all taken ownership in this bank. And instead of going through Wall Street, they're going to Main Street. You can go to own.oldglorybank.com. Now, listen, you need to talk to a professional. You gotta be qualified. Investments go up and down. Stock is not FDIC insured. Talk to someone, though. You can go to oldglorybank.com to get a bank account. Own.oldglorybank.com if you're interested in investing in the bank of the future.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
151 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Red alert in Lithia Springs. All lanes shut down. Crash, fuel spill cleanup. I-20 westbound Thornton Road, exit 44. Traffic being diverted off there. Big jam back toward Fulton Industrial Boulevard. Use Highway 78 as an alternate. In Kennesaw, crash cleanup on the left shoulder. 75 northbound Barrett Parkway, exit 269. Slow both ways. And now all lanes being held by the airport to clear crash. 285 westbound the inner loop at Riverdale Road. Traffic brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies, offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When traffic hits.
Raining pretty heavy. Crash still on the right lane, 85 northbound Hamilton Mill.
Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Causing for a long, slow ride to I-20.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Not often we can say this, but 285 is looking great.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi, I'm David Nicholas, financial advisor and president of Nicholas Wealth Management. It's hard to imagine, but one day in retirement, your income will stop. You may have been working for 30 or 40 years, but now you'll have to depend on the money you've saved for the next 30 years. How do you know if you've saved enough? What does it mean to spend confidently in retirement? One of the worst things that you can do is get to retirement and not know how much income your investments can produce. At Nicholas Wealth, we created a plan that will show you what your investments can potentially generate in dividends, interest, and growth in retirement. We call this our Spend Confidently plan. When's the best time to turn on Social Security? What are some of the best dividend-paying stocks available? Our CPAs and CFPs will show you what your income number is and how a diversified portfolio of income-producing investments could potentially provide you consistent monthly income. Our Retire Ready Income Report is a $1,000 value. We'll provide it completely complimentary if you've saved more than $250,000 for retirement and you give us a call in the next 10 minutes. Number to call is 404-890-5606. That's 404-890-5606. 5606, or you can go to nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and the needs of any person. This is a paid advertisement.
Multiple contractors and estimates for your home projects? What a hassle. Instead, trust the Plus. Painting Plus.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. We're reliable, fully licensed, and insured. No muss, no fuss. Trust the Plus and leave everything on your list to us.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter here for my good friends at PalmettoSleep.com. Let's talk about a serious business, sleep apnea. I suffer from it, and whether you've been diagnosed with it or afraid you have it, I have the solution. Palmetto Sleep is here to give you your life back. They make it easy to get help for sleep apnea because living without a good night's sleep is simply no way to live. Palmetto Sleep offers a custom-fitted oral appliance that opens your airway so you naturally breathe the way nature intended. The best part is they offer virtual consultations and in-home sleep testing. No overnight stays at a sleep center. Plus, Palmetto Sleep has all the doctors that you will need. Most appointments are virtual, and it's all covered by your private medical insurance. Don't suffer from another sleepless night or daytime fatigue like I do. Visit PalmettoSleep.com now. Visit PalmettoSleep.com. That's PalmettoSleep.com.
Join Eric's Army of Activists. Text ARMY to 33777 now.
Welcome back. It's Eric Erickson here, 877-973-7425. The phone number, if you text the word data to 33777, you can get the show notes email. When the show goes live, we send out an email with all the links to all the stuff I'm going to talk about and then some. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I just saw this come up, and I'm on the radio in Brunswick, Georgia, WGIG. How are you guys down there? I love you. I need to come see you. And I have a listener down there he's a brewer, and he's a big lib. Big lib. So, one of my hobby horses is I hate the cameras that are in front of schools now in parts of Georgia that do speed detection. They're a scam. I know some of you are like, but it keeps the children safe. It actually doesn't. There's actually never been a child in Georgia injured in front of a school because of a driver. That's not true. And we know now that the money isn't actually going to school safety. It's going to the general fund for local governments, which is why they like it. Literally not a penny goes to school safety from the money generated. And these cameras are actually giving people tickets at times of day they're not supposed to. So I mentioned that, and this guy comes out and he says, no, I think we should have these cameras everywhere. I think it keeps people safe. No one should drive more than the speed limit with limited exceptions, and we don't need police to do this. We can have cameras. Like, you are an authoritarian. You want to outsource law enforcement to cameras. So now I'm complaining about this form that everybody has to fill out. If you own a vacation home as an LLC, you're required to fill out the form. If you're on the booster club of your kid's school, you have to fill out this federal form where it's a $10,000 fine and 2 years in jail. If you are on the homeowners association of your neighborhood, you have to fill out the form where it's a $10,000 fine or 2 years in jail. If you have any sort of business in the form of an LLC or an incorporated business, you have to fill out the form with only like 3 exceptions, and they all relate to trading securities. And this guy's like, I think this is a brilliant idea. It is transparency, and everyone should know about these businesses. This guy, I can't relate. Like, I love you. You're made in the image of God, so I love you. But I can't relate to someone who just wants the government in all of our lives. We're all safer because of the government. But I assure you, if this guy he's a brewer in Brunswick, Georgia, I assure you, if the government cracked down on how he brews beer, he would be furious. But everybody else, the nanny government is just making us safer by interfering in every aspect of our lives. He just doesn't want them in the bedroom, but anywhere else. I don't relate to that. I genuinely cannot relate to people like that. I don't get it. When we come back, we need to have a grown-up discussion. I won't tell you what it is, but we need a grown-up discussion.
Dramatically improve the look of your home and make your neighbors say wow with a new garage door. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. Replace that ugly, outdated garage door with a beautiful, modern, energy-efficient door that will add to your home's value and curb appeal. At All Four Seasons, we offer fast service, affordable prices, and a huge selection of styles, colors, and custom features. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and receive the strongest cash offer in the industry. You'll save time and make the most money. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can skip the hassle of getting your home ready to sell, receive an all-cash offer, and close in as little as 21 days. You can trust my friends at Mark Spain Real Estate to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. It's an update on the tragic murders of 2 teenage boys in Atlanta last summer. They had no ties to a gang, but they were killed by them. Here's a report all new at 2 o'clock.
7 Goodfellas gang members are under arrest for last July's horrific shootings in the Oakland City neighborhood. Atlanta Police Major Paul Malecki says Jacoby Davis and Lamont Freeman died.
We had 2 13-year-olds and 11-year-old celebrating the birthday of Lamont Fremont. He had just turned 13, and he got to experience about 30 minutes of being a teenager before his life was taken.
Police say the violence was launched when a gang member decided to shoot a music video in a rival gang's stronghold. A hit was called on that rapper by a high-ranking gangster in prison with a contraband cell phone. In Atlanta, Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
74 degrees in Atlanta. Warm today. What changes on the way for tomorrow? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. New this hour, an effort under the Gold Dome to make it a felony to distribute or produce child porn made using artificial intelligence.
These are not mere images. They are realistic simulations that can be indistinguishable from reality.
A bill sponsored by State Rep Brad Thomas passes unanimously in the House and now goes to the Senate. The Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office identifies 57 sets of cremains recovered from a fire at an abandoned funeral home last year. The Norman Medford Peden Funeral Home and Crematory had gone out of business and was about to be foreclosed on when it was damaged by fire. Cobb County spokesman Ross Cavett says they hope to provide answers to family members with lingering questions about loved ones.
We're not sure how much of a response we're going to get from this list, but we wanted to put it out just in case.
The IDs of the individuals is online, and we posted the list at WSBradio.com. President Trump holds the first cabinet meeting of his second administration today.
We're going to start getting to be at a point where we can think in terms of balancing budgets, believe it or not, something you haven't heard in many, many years, decades actually.
The president lists a number of priorities he's focused on, including the border, inflation, and energy production. President Trump says his budget cuts will not impact Social Security and Medicare. The CDC now reports the first measles death in the U.S. in over a decade. Texas authorities confirm an unvaccinated school-age child died from the disease after being hospitalized in Lubbock last week. The West Texas outbreak now stands at 124 cases. It is now 2:02. This news sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from my roofer, FGA Roofing, and I'm thrilled to hear the FGA Roofing is Tim Andrews' roofer.
My FGA Roofing story is very simple. We needed repairs to our roof. I said, hey, I'm going to call Scott Slade's roofer. FGA Roofing came out, and within 15 to 20 minutes, they had everything identified that needed to be done, and they came back about a week later and knocked it out very quickly.
Quality work is what you get with FGA Roofing, whether you're going for repairs or if you're ready for your home's exterior for a real upgrade. The architectural shingles, the designer roofs, I mean, these are real envy points with your neighbors. They'll be stopping you on the street going, hey, who did that?
Hey, you know what? After the repair, one of the neighbors down the street, who I never even met before, came up and said, who did that? So when I am in the market for a new roof, I know who I'm going to call. FGA Roofing.
Absolutely. You know, designer roofs catching your eye, this is where you need to go. Slate, tile, wood shake, and for a limited time, FGA Roofing is offering $1,000 off your final quote if you mention Scott Slate or Tim Andrews.
That's awesome.
Just search FGA Roofing.
Hey folks, it's Belinda. What you have planned this weekend? How about visiting the Lakewood 400 Antiques Market in Cumming, Friday through Sunday this weekend? Grab your spouse or your friends and go on a treasure hunt with over 500 booths. Everything you can imagine, from jewelry, collectibles, sports memorabilia, antiques, furniture, handcrafts, and toys. Every aisle and row is a different adventure. Come on out this weekend to the Lakewood 400 Antiques Market, 1321 Atlanta Highway in Cumming. Visit LakewoodAntiques.com.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
At 2:05, Alex Williams is in the 24-hour traffic center.
Travel advisory continues in Lithia Springs. Crash cleanup, I-20 westbound, Thornton Road, exit 44. It's in a couple of right lanes. You're jammed up back to Fulton Industrial Boulevard. Use Highway 78 as an alternate. Truck crash cleanup in Kennesaw continues on the left shoulder, 75 northbound at Barrett Parkway. Delays back through Marietta. Also 75 south delays as well out of Ackworth. Highway 41 an alternate. The express lanes are pointed northbound. And the tractor-trailer crash mostly off to the right now. 285 westbound, the interloop at Riverdale Road by the airport. Delays back to I-75. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 76.
And tomorrow, mostly cloudy and breezy. A stray rain shower is possible with a cold front moving through, and a high of 68. Right now, it is 76 in Lilburn, 72 in Mableton, 76 in Jonesboro. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Conversationalists, how are you? The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be delighted to have you with me. Be a lot of fun here on the show. We got to have a grown-up conversation. I've been thinking about this. It's been stuck in the back of my mind, and I gotta talk about it. But first, I gotta say something else. Occasionally, I go on CNN, do TV on News Nation. I'll be on with Leland Vittert next week. I enjoy not being under contract on TV now because I can say no. When you're under contract, you can't really say no. And I don't get paid to do it, but I don't mind doing it. And I was on with Aaron Burnett last night on CNN, and it just kind of, I don't know, it's a frustration in my mind when I hear some of the conversations on TV these days that just seem kind of out to lunch and like this isn't a grown-up conversation. So, for example, last night, the introductory conversation was on, will Elon Musk be at the cabinet meeting? Donald Trump had his first cabinet meeting today. And it really was. It was like a criminology from the media, if he was there, if he wasn't there. And they asked me about this. So with some shows, not every show. So like when I do Leland Vittert's show or I do Jake Tapper's show on CNN, I just go on the show. I know the topic. I go in prepared. With other shows, if I do Aaron Burnett's show, sometimes Anderson Cooper, occasionally on Fox, I do a pregame interview with the producer who kind of gets my thoughts encapsulated for the show. And they asked me about Musk in the cabinet last night, and I said, I think it's kind of a dumb story, no offense, but if he's not in the cabinet meeting, you guys are going to do wall-to-wall coverage of what does it mean. If he is in the cabinet meeting, you're going to do wall-to-wall coverage. What does it mean? And what it means is that he's going to be there because he actually is a significant part of the administration, but only for the next couple of months, which keeps being devoid and lost in the conversation. Elon Musk is not going to be in the cabinet. He is not a cabinet official, but he is at a senior level where he's calling shots and shaking things up, and he gets to be in the cabinet. He's also a celebrity, and I'm sure all the cabinet members wanted to meet him. The idea that it's some major national news story, though, no, it's not. And the obsession of the media over this is I think, kind of an example of why nobody really pays attention to the American press corps anymore. They've lost the ability to separate what really matters from what doesn't matter. And this isn't to pat me on the back. It's not to toot my own horn. But what was my lead story today at noon when I started the show? It was the Secretary of the Treasury admitting the economy's been more fragile than he expected, and we actually were in a recession last year, as everyone on the right said we were, and all the members of the media lectured us and said we weren't. Turns out we were. That's a really big story. And instead, the big story in the news is Elon Musk going to sit in the cabinet? And if so, how close to Donald Trump is he going to sit? And what does it mean? Let's ask our criminologists. It's just a dumb story. I should be the editor of the newscasts in America because I can tell you what the important stories are. Now, I want to talk about an important story. And we need to put our big boy pants on to have this conversation. I really like what I'm getting out of Doge, and it angers a lot of friends of mine that I like what I'm getting out of Doge. I've got friends of mine on the right who are upset with Doge. We had a caller yesterday from down in Florida. His son is in the military. His son got the email on Friday, and his son was offended by the email. Now, his son likes Musk and supports Trump and voted for Trump, but was like, this isn't in his wheelhouse. I'm in the Pentagon. Why am I getting this? It's disrespectful sort of thing. I get it. I have friends of mine who work for the government who know people have lost their jobs. They're a little bit frazzled. I get it. I try, even when I don't agree, to at least exercise some basic empathy. I want to put something on the table for you to consider. And I want you to think about eating. Let's talk about food. You know, people do those weight loss shots now. And I swear to you, I tried them, and I must be the only person in America who didn't lose weight. You know how I lost weight? Exercise, up the protein, and cut out the sweets. And then I hit Christmas, and I'm having to undo the damage still. Shots really didn't do them much. Everybody else I know lost a lot of weight. Me, not really. And what they tell me is that you start eating and you just get nauseous. Like you get sick to your stomach. You can only eat so much. Now let's step back and take you. Let's just do a hypothetical. We're going to leave Charlie out of this because, so Charlie, my producer / call screener, does not have a sweet tooth. It is very obnoxious. He goes to the gym every day, lives this obnoxiously healthy lifestyle to repent of the sins of his youth. And he's just not a sweet guy. He has no sweet tooth even. Doesn't like dessert. Like my wife makes amazing desserts. He comes to my house and it's like, no, I'd rather have the broccoli. It's very, very weird. If I knew this about him before I hired him, I wouldn't have hired him. But now that I've hired him, my wife likes him, and I can't fire him. It's a very difficult position for me to be in. My kids like him. It's very, very difficult. But the rest of you, outside of him, let's say you sit down with some dessert. What's your favorite dessert? An apple pie, chocolate pie, a cake, Oreos, Snicker bars, whatever it is. And you start eating. And you eat, and you eat, and you eat. Not eat, but you eat. You eat. You get sick, don't you? You get sick to your stomach. You get a little nauseous. You get a little queasy. You get a little Ozempic feeling. Or you just sit down for a feast and you start like Thanksgiving. You sit down for Thanksgiving. You got your sweet potatoes, your mashed potatoes, your mac and cheese, your green beans, your green bean casserole. What else? You got your nasty cranberry sauce that's come out of a can. You got your turkey. You got your dressing. And you start eating, and you're full. You get full quick. You're sitting down. You have this meal once a year. You gorge yourself. You get stuffed. And you get a little queasy. And now you're like, have you lost your mind, Erickson? Where are you going with this? Doge. I'm going to Doge. We have been sitting here since January 20th at noon, gorging on the feast of deliciousness from Doge. We have been inhaling the brownies and the sugar from Doge. At what point, not you and me who have the tolerance for it, at what point do the middle Americans who voted for Trump, they're kind of Trump skeptical, but they really hated Biden, do they start feeling a little nauseous? Because you get this, you and I don't actually matter in this conversation. They do. Why don't we matter? The electorate moved from a 5-point advantage to Democrats to a 2-point advantage for the GOP. And that swing came not from Republican voters, not from Trump voters, but from independent voters who were like, I'm comfortable identifying with these guys right now. And why were they comfortable identifying with the GOP? Because the Democrats, I can't say the word on radio, but let's just say it begins with an A and it ends with whole. That's how they came across. They could not care less about your financial condition. They wanted your sons to be able to play in your daughter's sports. They could not care less that you lost your job. They wanted you to be able to have your gender identity and pronoun of your choice. They could not care less that you were mugged in the streets. They wanted to make sure that it was not a white police officer who showed up in your neighborhood. They could not care less about where your kids went to school as long as they were having rainbow flags shoved in their mouth and poured in their libraries. They came across as a-holes. I'm not saying the word, can't say the word, bad word to say on radio, but you know what I mean. Brain biblical donkeys. Something Balaam knew about in Numbers, except not wise. And these voters shifted from a 5-point Democratic advantage to a 2-point Republican advantage. But they're not natural Republicans. They're not natural Trump voters. You and I have the capacity to gorge on the delightful deliciousness of Doge's wrecking ball in government. I mean, Elon Musk is a veritable Miley Cyrus, coming in like a wrecking ball, taking it all out. It's fantastic. I enjoy every day I wake up for Schadenfreude deliciousness, watching them destroy parts of government and seeing the meltdown of the media as these people come on and say, I was in charge of the transgender gender studies department of the IRS where we could transition your tax return and add a female genitalia to your tax signature if you wanted it, and I lost my job. And I was indispensable because no one else would draw a uterus on your tax return, and I want my job again. The media is like, oh, you poor thing. This is terrible. Screw the people in the private sector who lost their job. How could they fire you? You were indispensable. I love watching these people cry on TV. I have some sort of indispensable job because I push paper across my desk at the Department of the Treasury. I'm totally fine watching these people lose their jobs. I don't like to watch. I feel bad for Joy. I'm that sort of person. I'm glad she lost her job, but I also feel bad for her. And I know I shouldn't. I know it's just me. It's me. I feel bad when people lose their jobs and at the same time can say, but you deserve to lose. I'm sorry, but you deserved it. But at what point do the swing voters who swing in our direction be like, this is a little callous. This is a little cruel. At what point do they say, my God, we're voting with Russia, Belarus, and North Korea? I think there comes a limit to what the swing voters are willing and capable of ingesting before they start getting a little nauseous with it. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not applying it to you, and I'm not applying it to me. But you and I together can't win elections. We need those people too. So I want to say this to all of you. I kind of think that we should let Doge have its way. We forget that Elon Musk is because he's a special government employee, he's only in government up to 180 days, and then he's got to leave. So this is a short-term thing. So to the Republicans, I would tell you, let it play out. He's got half a year, and you know what? No one's going to care about this. By next year's election, yeah, okay, the fired government employees who live in Northern Virginia are still going to be mad, and the Republicans might not have a good off-year election in Virginia this year. But next year, by the time we get to the election, I'm concerned that if we discombobulate the swing voters too much economically, too much with foreign policy all at one time, they're going to swing back to the Democrats if and it's a big if the faces of the Democratic Party moderate what they say. They don't have to moderate their position. They can still believe boys can become girls. They just don't talk about it. And when people shove a microphone in their face and say, do you believe boys should be in girls' sports? They say, I believe that every American should have a job. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about jobs. All I'm saying is irrational exuberance is a thing, and we on the right do need to be a little careful that we're not overfeeding everybody with what's happening. The super saturation can turn people off. And when you watch the focus groups right now of swing voters, you're already starting to say they're okay with it right now. They actually are fine with what's happening right now, and they're fine with the pace of it. But you can already pick up signs that in another 6 months, they may not be. So I would just caution the Trump administration that you're going to have to pace yourself for everybody's sake. Get it done. Let Elon Musk do his job. And when his time is up in government and goes away and the conversation changes, make people feel settled instead of still discombobulated. And you're going to do fine next year in the midterms. But if people still feel discombobulated and they don't feel like you fixed the economy because you were distracted by all this other stuff, there could be hell to pay. So just be careful.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
222 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory continues into Lithia Springs. Truck crash cleanup knocking out a couple of right lanes. 20 westbound, Thornton Road, exit 44. Jammed up back toward Fulton Industrial. Use Highway 78. 75 northbound still slow up between Marietta and Kennesaw. Truck crash cleanup near Barrett Parkway, exit 269. And now crash left lane, 285 southbound, the inner loop near La Vista Road. Traffic brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and for UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
Your baby is ugly.
Eric Von Hessler has an opinion.
I abhor violence, unless it's on the football field where it belongs.
And some advice.
A meme coin, of course, something I don't really understand. Don't ever buy one. There you go. I just gave you some great advice.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Wet spots or water streaks on your ceiling, drywall, or chimney?
Your roof is leaking. Home Fix It host Dave Baker. Get a free roof analysis from my trusted experts, Finley Roofing. The roof guys. No obligation, no charge. FinleyRoofing.com. Roof.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
House Republicans are working every day to secure the southern border, end government waste, and bring down the rising cost of living that is hurting every one of us. Y'all, I'm Congressman Mike Collins, and I won't let off the gas until we fix our country and put American interest first. And follow along at collins.house.gov, because we have a lot of work to get done, and I want you involved.
Paid for with official funds from the Office of Representative Mike Collins.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Are the effects of diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, or high cholesterol robbing you of your ability to perform in the bedroom? Choice Men's Health can help you eliminate ED and get your bedroom performance back in just one visit. Choice Men's Health offers breakthrough treatments for ED and performance issues in the bedroom to help you regain your confidence and give you back the intimacy with your partner. Call Choice Men's Health right now to make an appointment and find out how you can eliminate ED on the first visit. Popular name brand pills like Viagra and Cialis don't work for everyone and can have serious side effects. Choice Men's Health custom medications work immediately, even if you have a medical history or think you're too old to perform like you used to. Choice Men's Health can help you have a fulfilling sex life again. Call Choice Men's Health today at 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. Once again, that's 404-400-1170.
Sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and receive the strongest cash offer in the industry. You'll save time and make the most money. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. You may not agree with him, but he tells you the truth. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
I canceled my Washington Post subscription back in October of 2023. I did not have the Washington Post the entirety of the 2024 presidential election. I wanted nothing to do with it. The Washington Post writers, their foreign affairs desk, their editorial board, everyone seemed to be pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist. The entire newspaper swung so far left. They were the mouthpiece of Hamas in the United States. Even though owned by Jeff Bezos, the entirety of the newspaper seemed cast to be sympathetic to a bunch of terrorists who had murdered thousands of Israelis and kidnapped American citizens and others and just butchers. Jeff Bezos, he's the owner of the Washington Post, and I can't stomach this. Well, Bezos is forcing the newspaper to change course now. Has a note out he put on Twitter. I'm writing to let you know about a change coming to our opinion pages. We're going to be writing every day in support and defense of two pillars, personal liberties and free markets. We'll cover other topics too, of course, but viewpoints opposing those pillars will be left to be published by others. There was a time when a newspaper, especially one that was a local monopoly, might have seen it as a service to bring to the reader's doorstep every day a broad-based opinion section that sought to cover all views. Today, the internet does that job. I am an American and for America and proud to be so. He says the existing editor is resigning because he doesn't want to go along with it. I have renewed my subscription. I'll give him a chance again. Now, speaking of free markets and free people, that's what AFP represents. They are the largest leading grassroots organization in the country, and they happen to be on our side. They support families and small businesses. They support free markets. They support common sense tax reform. They have been the largest outside group rallying the grassroots to support President Trump and his tax cut extension, and they would love to have you involved. If you go to protectprosperity.com, you can sign up for their website where you get all the news and information, the state of play on what's going on with those tax cuts. You can click the action button and reach out to your members of Congress and tell them to support the tax cuts and support common sense conservative reforms. Americans for Prosperity makes it very easy for you to be a credible and effective conservative activist supporting families and small businesses, free markets, and free people across the country. They have chapters in every state. Just go to americansforprosperity.org or go to protectprosperity.com today. Sign up at protectprosperity.com and take a fight for common sense conservative solutions for taxes in the country.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. New information today on the murders of two 13-year-old boys in Atlanta last summer. Atlanta police announced multiple suspects are now charged.
We made a commitment when we stood before you last time on Spark Street that we were going to identify the murders in that case. And not only were we going to identify the murders in that case, we were going to bring them to justice.
Atlanta Police Chief Darren Shearbaum says Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman were killed celebrating Freeman's birthday outside his home on Spark Street last July. In addition to the suspects who were already in custody, police say today they have arrested two more suspects. Police say the shooting was gang-related. A new federal complaint claims Fulton County schools discriminate against Palestinian and Muslim students. Attorney Samantha Hamilton with Asian Americans Advancing Justice says the discrimination has also come from parents.
One parent complained to the principal about students wearing keffiyehs at school, a symbol of Arab heritage. The parent asserted in her complaint that wearing a keffiyeh is tantamount to supporting terrorism.
The school district says it takes all allegations seriously and fully investigates any reported harassment or discrimination. A former Customs and Border Protection officer from the U.S. Virgin Islands is found guilty of smuggling cocaine into Atlanta. 45-year-old Ivan Van Beverhout used his position to smuggle more than 16 kilos of cocaine. He's accused of wearing his uniform, boarding a flight from St. Thomas to Atlanta, and carrying the drugs into carry-on bags. The city of Brookhaven is putting in more electric vehicle charging stations. City manager Christian Sigmund says they'll be fast chargers.
There are two of them, and they're going on to Dresden Drive in front of a new multi-family mixed-use development that's about to open.
They're expected to start going in over the next 2 to 3 months. It is now 2:32. This news is sponsored by FGA Roofing.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment and product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000. Or visit us at TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
When it comes to beautiful, they wrote the book. Siding, paint, windows, and doors gives your home a brand new look.
At Superior Pro, we use the highest quality materials and the best techniques in windows, siding, painting, doors, and more. Plus, all our projects come with an extended labor warranty. Visit SuperiorPro.com for a free in-home design consultation.
Superior Pro, the pros to know.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
What a mess on the roadways, Bill. Travel advisory, 20 westbound, Lithia Springs, Thornton Road, exit 44. Just a few left lanes open. Use Highway 78. And we have two trouble spots in DeKalb County. Crash moved off to the right, 285 eastbound, the Interloop at Buford Highway, exit 32. One past that, heading southbound, still in the left lane at North Lake Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 76.
76 in Suwannee, 75 in Villa Rica, and 73 in Locust Grove. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
He's got the courage to tell you the truth, even when it isn't popular. You're listening to The Erick Erickson Show.
Hello, welcome. It is Erick Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425, should you wish to be on the program. I do my best to tell you when I'm wrong about things. I had to correct myself the other day. I had to revisit a prior topic and point out I was wrong about something. I find, and you know, people like to hold it over my head. You were wrong about this. Well, you know it because I told you I was wrong about it. But I also like to point out when I'm right about things. And I got enormous blowback over the weekend for telling you that these Republican town halls around the country, that these were not constituents of the congressman showing up to complain. They were Democratic activists from other districts. And I had a guy, a leader of the Democrats in Fulton County, Georgia, come after me on social media to try to tell me that I was wrong and this was organic anger by Democrats. And I thought it was very notable. This guy is all Kamala Harris, still got all his Kamala Harris stuff up, and he's like, this was organic. These were angry constituents who showed up. No, it was not. And I knew it wasn't because I know Congressman Rich McCormick and his staff, and they told me these were people who were not in the district. And I knew some of the people who had gone, and some of them were like, yeah, I mean, a buddy of mine from the CDC was there. He doesn't live in the district. Yeah, I knew that this was not, but no. We showed up, and it was organized by us, and we got people from, no, you did not. His district is 65% Republican. You couldn't find a Democrat in that district. If you tried, you'd have to go to some burlesque show to find them, and they would have been in somebody else's district anyway. It was always organized, and yet the outrage still continues. Here is some of the coverage on CNN.
Are you okay with chaos? Okay. Are you okay? Government employees are going to be let go, and that's just the reality of it.
They're shouting down Congressman Alford in that one. Well, the Washington Free Beacon has the receipts. This is from Colin Anderson. When angry voters confronted Representative Rich McCormick over Doge at a town hall held in the Georgia Republicans' Deep Red District, the New York Times, Washington Post, and CBS News cited the scene as proof of emerging bipartisan backlash over Elon Musk's efforts to slash government spending. CBS included a quote from one of the protest organizers, Maggie Goldman, describing her only as a McCormick constituent. Goldman does live in McCormick's district, though she's far from a concerned supporter of the two-term Republican, a self-described Democrat and political activist. Goldman, who did not respond to a request for comment, coordinated volunteers for Pete Buttigieg's political campaign in 2019 and 2020, according to her LinkedIn. Wait a second. You mean they're quoting a woman who supported, like, the most woke white gay dude to ever run for president? She supported him, and they're trying to claim that she's representative of the district. Also, by the way, only the most progressive people in the country support Pete Buttigieg. I mean, this is the data. Overwhelmingly white progressives. Now I'm pulling up her LinkedIn page. Assumption University, Trinity Washington University, real estate. Pete for America. There it is. Unpaid volunteer coordinator for Pete for America. You are genuinely the hyper progressive if you supported Pete Buttigieg, and that's not actually me. That's the political data. You're overwhelmingly white and progressive if you're a Pete Buttigieg supporter, and yet they're claiming that she is a constituent, which she is, but using her as a representative, which she's absolutely not. She ran for a local county commission as a Democrat seeking to enact a more inclusive policy agenda. She donated exclusively to Democrats. She sent Kamala Harris's campaign more than $1,500. On her Facebook page, she boasted of the national media attention the McCormick protest received, sharing screenshots of headlines alongside the caption, "We're really on fire," using the fire emoji. Turns out the George Soros-funded group Indivisible and Move On, also funded by George Soros, were at the center of the demonstrations. Both groups launched national mobilization efforts targeting the quote-unquote Trump-Musk agenda and the Trump-Musk coup. Move On said its members and allies will show up at congressional-led town halls and congressional offices around the country, targeting House Republicans whose votes will be crucial in opposing Trump and Musk's harmful policies. Indivisible issued a Musk or Us recess toolkit, which showed members how to find their local town halls and urged them to take the fight to Elon. The group's local organizers heeded the call, launching protests against House Republicans at town halls and district offices that garnered widespread media coverage. Move On targeted Arizona's Dave Schweikert, California's Ken Calvert, Virginia's Jen Keegan, while Indivisible organized against Michigan's Tom Barrett, Wisconsin's Brian Steele, and Scott Fitzgerald, among others. Local outlets mentioned Indivisible's role in the protests when covering them. Urban Milwaukee wrote that Fitzgerald's town hall attracted about 100 people, largely organized by an organization called Indivisible. The New York Times and CBS mentioned the Fitzgerald town hall, but neither mentioned George Soros' group being involved. I told you so. You know, I have a background in political activism. When I was running RedState.com, where I ran Red State for 10 years, 2005 to 2015 was my full-time job. And in 2010, when Obama was president, and it was before the midterms, the August before, I coordinated a spreadsheet with a far-left group, no less. So the far left in 2010, with the rise of the Tea Party, they were trying to get Democrats to show up at Republican town halls and essentially attack them as racist for opposing Barack Obama. I was trying to get Republican activists to show up at Democratic town halls and harass them for Obamacare. And I was friends with the organizer of the left. She and I had been on CNN together several times. It's like, can I borrow your spreadsheet? I don't have the manpower. She had an entire army of people. She had worked in Hollywood. She literally was paying people to build a list. And she, sure, why not? We'll get as many Americans as possible at town halls. And it was, I mean, we literally had a spreadsheet. I used it on the right. She used it on the left. It had when the town halls were, where they were located. And if you were an activist, you were getting emails saying, click on this, find your congressman, show up at his town hall. Here's the address, here's the time, here's the registration link, go. When this happened the other night at Rich McCormick's, I knew immediately what it was because I used to organize these sorts of things. I could tell what it was. And there's always a difference. In 2010, when I was doing this, the media would cover the Democrats showing up at the Republican town halls. They never covered us unless they wanted to claim they were racist. They would cover them as racist. You know Mary Catherine Ham, political writer, she pointed out in 2010 that the media, in fact, I was on CNN at the time, and I was having to come in and defend these violent Republicans showing up at Democratic town halls. It's like, these people aren't violent. There were literally 6 arrests in the August recess in 2010, and all 6 of them were Democrats. Not a single Republican in 2010 was arrested for violence. Not a single one of them. 6 Democrats were arrested at Republican town halls, and 5 of them at Republican town halls, 1 of them at a Democratic town hall, because he was a union organizer who beat the hell out of a Republican for complaining about Obamacare. 6 people arrested, all of them Democrats. And yet the media, I was on with Wolf Blitzer, and he was explaining these were violent. The violence at the town halls. I was like, Wolf, there were 6 people arrested. They were all Democrats. There have been no violent Republicans. God forbid the media actually pay attention to these facts, but it was so organized. I could tell it when it happened to Rich McCormick. And then when I mentioned it over the weekend, there was an organized effort to drown out my tweets about it. You had these guys, that Democrats in Fulton County, and then around the country, it was organic. These are real constituents. It's like, they are not real constituents. I talked to the congressman's campaign. You sign in. They told me, like, you can't believe him. He's lying. I mean, who do you believe? The left-wing organizers? It's such nonsense. And yet look how coordinated they are with the media. Carolyn Levitt yesterday announced that the White House is now going to shake up who comes to the White House press briefings.
In fact, we want to double down and give even greater access to the American people. We want more outlets and new outlets to have a chance to take part in the press pool, to cover this administration's unprecedented achievements up close, front and center. As you all know, for decades, a group of D.C.-based journalists, the White House Correspondents Association, has long dictated which journalists get to ask questions of the President of the United States in these most intimate spaces. Not anymore. I am proud to announce that we are going to give the power back to the people who read your papers, who watch your television shows, and who listen to your radio stations. Moving forward, the White House press pool will be determined by the White House press team. Legacy outlets who have participated in the press pool for decades will still be allowed to join, fear not, but we will also be offering the privilege to well-deserving outlets who have never been allowed to share in this awesome responsibility.
The media, of course, is outraged that they do not get to control access to the President of the United States anymore. Eugene Daniels is the president of the White House Correspondents Association, or he was until yesterday. Mr. Nonpartisan of the nonpartisan White House Correspondents Association left to go to the very partisan MSNBC network to do a TV show. Just how nonpartisan was he? These people covered for Joe Biden for 4 years. Remember, these reporters submitted pre-screened questions for Joe Biden to answer at press conferences and then had the audacity to lie about it and say it wasn't true until photographs came out of the questions. They were shocked and appalled, not that people were doing it, but that we found out about it. They're upset. They want to control the access. Here's Brian Stelter. This is worth playing. This is from 2021. Where he's not sure, actually does a roundtable discussion on should Fox News be allowed?
There are are, these questions about Fox's, as Fox radicalizes and as it becomes even more and more of a political tool. Zerwick, you wrote a column recently for The Sun about this, saying Fox should be viewed as a political tool. And that raises a question. Should it be a part of the White House press pool? Should it be afforded the privileges that come with news gathering? Even though they do have some news reporters at the White House, you're saying they're primarily a political tool. So should that be reassessed, Zerwick?
Listen, I really do. I think it's a discussion we need to have. Look, you're not supporting democracy. You're not supporting the larger values of this culture. They don't even stand up as a opposition party, but there's nothing journalistic in what Lachlan Murdoch said. And you know what? I say, hey, you know what? Let's take them at their word.
So here you've got a round table of journalists saying Fox News is too partisan. They shouldn't be there. Brad Seller, by the way, longtime defender of MSNBC, he thinks they should be there. Why should anyone with that bad judgment be an arbiter of who can and cannot be in the White House Correspondents Association? Let the White House decide. And I see defenders, including at Fox News, defenders of the White House Correspondents Association say this isn't end well for you, MAGA. This is going to end well for you. When a Democrat comes back in, you're going to be shut out. Y'all, we're already shut out. We're already shut out. The Democrat members of the press have spent 4 years covering for Joe Biden. 4 years they spent covering for his mental decline. The only journalist in America who regularly, aggressively questioned Joe Biden's mental fitness was Alex Thompson of Axios. He and Jake Tapper have a new book out. By the way, conservatives are furious about Tapper's involvement in this. Jake's a friend. I actually think he was one of the ones who asked tough questions. Maybe not as much as you or I would have liked, but he did. Alex Thompson, unquestionably, Alex Thompson is the only reporter in Washington, D.C. who was punished by the Biden White House for daring to ask questions about Joe Biden's mental fitness for 4 years. In fact, I know this because I covered Joe Biden's mental decline for 4 years, and the only news outlet that would cover it was Alex Thompson's pieces at Axios, and he was shut out of the White House for daring to ask questions. So I actually am interested in his book and what he says, and he and Tapper. But the White House Press Association, the Correspondents Association, they were complicit in the cover-up. So the idea that they would be fair with who they let in, no, they're not. I would much rather Donald Trump's team decide who gets to cover the White House than Eugene Daniel, who decided to leave to go work for MSNBC, tells me everything I need to know about him and his biases. And conservatives are never going to get a fair hearing anyway in there. Never. So why even bother? Now, I got to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You should bother going to EdenPureDeals.com and take advantage of the BOGO. Use Eric Bogo, ERICKBOGO at EdenPureDeals.com. You get one, you buy one, you get one free. You buy 5, you get 5 free. You buy 20, you get 20 for free. It's an amazing deal. EdenPureDeals.com. You use Eric Bogo, ERICKBOGO. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm is an air purifier. It gets rid of pollen. It gets rid of dust. It gets rid of pet dander. And it's filterless. It uses electrostatic plates. You do not also generate plasma, so as bacteria and viruses flow through, 99.9% of them eliminated. And every odor gets wiped out. Your dirty trash can odor gets wiped out. Your litter box odor gets wiped out. Your dirty diaper odor gets wiped out. Your gaseous smells get wiped out. Smoke odors eliminated. No odor can stand up to it. EdenPureDeals.com is the website. You use the discount code EricBogo, ERICKBOGO. You wipe out odors with the Eden Pure Thunderstorm, and they just work. You can plug it into the wall or plug it in with a USB cord. EdenPureDeals.com. Eric Bogo is the discount code.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
251 Coolray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory continues out into Lithia Springs. Long-standing crash cleanup still in the right lanes. 20 westbound at Thornton Road, jammed up from 285. Use Highway 78. All lanes just blocked and reopened into DeKalb County. The Tucker area got a crash off to the right. 285 southbound, the Interloop at North Lake Parkway, still slow back into Doraville. And crash cleanup in Kennesaw continues. Left shoulder, 75 northbound at Barrett Parkway, exit 269. Jammed up in both ways there. Northbound, you can use the express lanes or Highway 41. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
News.
Atlanta police on the lookout.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
2 people are dead and 19 others are injured after a small plane crashed.
And when it breaks.
Johnson with 218 votes right now, and it appears that would be enough to get him reelected House Speaker.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day.
95.5 WSB. Atlanta's breaking news station.
Why does it matter that D. Geller & Son is Atlanta's first diamond wholesaler? Because we get first dibs. When diamonds come to Atlanta, they come to D. Geller & Son first. A bunch of diamonds that look the same on paper, but there's about 1 in every 10 that you can see from across the room, and a lot in every 10 that are what my dad calls duds. So we keep the good one, we pack the rest back up, and they go somewhere else. That somewhere else is usually a big box store that's not quite as picky. That means the same color, same clarity, and same price gets you more brilliance, more sparkle, more bang for your diamond buck at D. Geller & Son. That's what we call the D. Geller difference. So why are we so picky? We live, work, and play right here in Atlanta. So when it comes to getting you the best diamond, we have to get it right. That's why Atlanta's first diamond wholesaler became Atlanta's favorite diamond retailer. Come see the D. Geller & Son difference for yourself and find out why we've been Atlanta's most trusted jeweler since 1939. In Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs, online at dgeller.com.
So, you don't park in your garage anymore because your garage door is broken? That's it? Oh well, too bad. Been meaning to fix it. How much other stuff in your house doesn't work? TV only gets even numbered channels when it rains. Coffee maker only makes a cup and a half before it quits. If your dishwasher didn't wash, or your printer didn't print, or your vacuum cleaner didn't suck, you'd fix it. Why aren't you parking your car in this clean, dry, awesome garage just because your garage door is broken? At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. We have the parts, tools, and the experience to fix what's broken. An expert repair and a fresh overhaul, and you'll get years of service out of your current system without spending a fortune to replace the whole thing. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage, and we'll come over and make it right. Because if it is broke, you do fix it.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Get the podcast, live stream, email, and social media links by texting Eric to 33777 now.
Greetings, conversationalists. It's Eric Erickson. Delighted to see you here with me. This is kind of wild to me. The amount of people in the press, are they just that out to lunch on Elon Musk? Nobody elected Elon Musk. Nobody elected Elon Musk. Therefore, he shouldn't have any say. Nobody elected Jill Biden when Joe got elected, and yet she would sit in cabinet meetings and had initiatives she wanted to do. Nobody elected Joe Biden's cabinet members, and yet they ruled roost as his dementia got bad. Nobody elected Mike Dillon, who ran things behind the scenes for Joe Biden, his chief of staff, as his dementia expanded. Nobody elected these people, and yet these progressives inside the Biden administration encouraged and fostered and festered and passed regulations and rules that burdened Americans. Nobody elected them. And this talking point that nobody elected Elon Musk, he shouldn't have a say in it, is a quick little dumb talking point from the left, amplified by members of the press. The amount of people in the press that are screaming about Elon Musk, is it not notable that they are super sympathetic to federal employees who are losing their jobs? Maybe because of the amount of layoffs in the media. I saw that some of Rachel Maddow's staff getting laid off because they were working with other shows that are canceled, Joy Reid gone, stuff like that. Newspapers shutting down, people losing jobs because they unionized and drove up costs. But it continues to bother me that not a single member of the media upset about these federal employees losing their job gave a damn about all the members of the military who lost their jobs because of the COVID vaccine mandate. They didn't get it. They treated those people like the enemy. The 40,000 active duty combat soldiers Barack Obama fired, nobody cared about them. On average, 1.1 million Americans a year get laid off from their job. Where is their profile on TV or in the newspaper? Joann Fabric closing down 900 stores. Where are the profile of the people going out of business? But one federal employee who makes a group chat on a private server at the NSA to talk about orgies and peeing on people loses his job, and it's a national scandal in the press that this pervert lost his job. Should have never had a job to begin with. The sympathies for government employees, I'm sorry, I don't like it when people lose their jobs, even people I don't like. But this happens all the time in the private sector. Not a member of the media gives a damn about it.
Everything now is geared to try to get you and I to spend more money, more money, more money. Social media, texts, websites soliciting us. It's so weird when I'm sitting next to my wife and she's looking through her emails, how many solicitations she's getting that say sale, sale, sale. If you know that you really have trouble controlling your wants because of these endless barrages of ads saying sale, buy now, buy two, get a third free, and all the rest, what I ask you to do is to really rethink what you're doing on social media, what things you sign up for text alerts, and with your email, clear out and unsubscribe to a lot that cause you to spend money that later you're like, oops. I'm Clark Howard.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. Atlanta police have new details today on the murders of two young boys last summer. The shooting involved a gang turf war.
The overall theme of this case is grown men playing gangster that left two of our children in graves and a community in fear.
The boys, whom Atlanta police call innocent good kids, were sitting outside West End apartments when gunfire killed Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman. Atlanta Police Major Ralph Woolfolk.
Lamont Freeman was allowed to be a 13-year-old for 27 minutes before gang violence ultimately took his life.
Woolfolk says a series of shootings last summer launched when a rapper shot a music video in a rival gang's territory, and a high-ranking gang member with a contraband cell phone in prison ordered a hit. In Atlanta, Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
75 degrees in Atlanta. What are the rain chances as a cold front moves through tomorrow? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. It's one way to cut down on Atlanta's horrible traffic. The city's e-bike rebate program may have a future. Here's a report all new at 3 o'clock.
A new report from the Atlanta Regional Commission finds the nearly 800 people that acquired an e-bike last year with the city's rebate program